Hey, everybody, we are live. Oh, got banners up. Sorry, hold on. There we go. Nick and I are still prepping for the show. So, if you are here, you will notice that I have different glasses on. It's been a week, Nick. It has been a week.
Oh,
Holy crap! Some weeks are just better than others, and this is one of those weeks that it was not as good as others. Now, the new job, freaking love it, absolutely love it. Just
okay. That's good.
every day I walk in and it's like my tail's wagging when I come in the door. And it's like my tail's wagging until like I come home at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night, and I'm still doing work and my tail is still wagging while I'm doing work until 9 o'clock. I love this job. I
Okay,
love who I'm working with.
that's good and all, but usually when the clock ends, the clock ends.
Yeah, but what else have I got gonna do other than, edit podcasts and put them up on the shelf?
No one cares about that.
So yeah, so the crappy things that happened, I go in, I'm on, I was on Cobra for February because it was between the two jobs. Like I left the old job last day. By the way, anybody, if you're ever losing your job, if you're ever leaving your job, do not leave on the last day of the month. Leave on the first day of the month because I did that. I didn't have health care because it takes a month for healthcare to start at your new job. So even though I didn't even take a day off between my two jobs, I lost healthcare for a month. So I went on to Cobra. That cost me $1,200.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, so I it was a $1,200 mistake by leaving on the 31st instead of the 1st. So, uh, I realized that I'm on Cobra, which means and I have, you know, I plan that goes with it, right? So, my I plan, I'm allowed to have 1 set of glasses and 1 eye exam a year. Well, I switched insurance, which means that I got my 1 set of glasses on the 27th of the month, and then I start the new insurance, and I can get another set of glasses on the 1st of the month because it's 2 different insurance.
Okay.
So I wanted to double up on my insurance. So I did a hurry up, get yourself an eye exam. So I get myself an eye exam, and that morning, I go to get my glasses out of my purse where they live, and they aren't there. And I'm like, "Oh, crap, I must have left them at home." I go home after the eye exam. My case of glasses are not in the house. So I proceed to tear apart the entire house. The only place that there's only 2 places that these glasses could be. These glasses were my computer glasses and my short, like super short reading glasses. The only thing I had, thank God, are my progressives, which allow me to drive. But
Okay,
it's
that's
really
good.
difficult
That's
to
good.
see a computer screen. Um, Either I left them on the BART train, which means they're gone forever, or I left them in the Uber from the BART to my work because it was raining, which means I'll
Mm.
probably never see them again. Or I left them at home, and when I grabbed my purse, and they knocked them off the table and onto the floor, and the dog might have gotten them and taken them somewhere to chew and hid them. And I haven't found them yet. So I've lost all of my glasses.
Wow.
Day
In 1 week.
In 1 week, I lost all of my glasses, and then that next day, I'm like calling the optometrist, and it's like, "I need to get a copy of the prescription you just gave me that you said it's gonna take 2 weeks for my progressives to come in. I need the other, like, the short and reading glasses that you said I didn't need to get new ones. I need that prescription because I need to get 2-day glasses because I can't do any work. I can't see my computer." And she's like, "No problem." So she sends it over to me. I ordered 2-day glasses. I'm working along that day and I'm like, trying to see the screen. Oh, but I'm making it. I'm fine at noon. I'm fine at 1. I'm fine at 2. At 2:32 in the afternoon, all of a sudden, I realize, like, it hits me like a train. I am sick. I go from being healthy to like, holy crap, I'm sick instantly, like a head cold from hell. Perfectly fine. And then wham, all of a sudden, I can't breathe. I'm sneezing. I'm thinking, holy crap, I'm at work and I've got COVID. Of course, I test myself. I don't have COVID. But then I'm instantly sick and I'm sick at home for the rest of the week. So I'm sick at home for the rest of the week with no glasses. Just hell. It's been
That's a
hell.
lot of stuff to go wrong in 1 week.
Yeah. I've never in my life lost a pair of glasses ever in my life. And I've had glasses since I was in like senior year of high school. Never lost a pair of glasses. And I lost both sets of glasses all at once. And it's the one thing that's like I'm super careful about, because if you lose your glasses, it's like I literally became Vera in one day. Like, oh my God, my glasses! I can't find my glasses. Not Vera, Velma. Velma. I became Velma for a whole day. Like, I can't find my glasses and running around the house, pulling things apart, like terrified. I can't find my glasses. It's kind of like, for somebody as blind as me, it's a bit like if you were an amputee and you lost your prosthetic. Like you feel like lost and debilitated and panic stricken. And so, I mean, I've gotten over it, but I'm still pretty upset. But I had my 2-day glasses I ordered on Tuesday show up at my work because that was where I was going to be. Except I was sick at home. So the 2-day glasses went to work. So I didn't even get my 2-day glasses.
So this is the only pair of glasses you have.
This is the only pair of glasses I have. And you're not horribly blurry, but you ain't sharp right now. I'm struggling, to say the least, to actually see the screen.
Okay. I thought you were talking about like my settings, and I thought, oh wait, do I need to change something?
My settings. And these glasses, I don't know if you can see it. These glasses are literally on their last legs. They are falling apart. They are literally falling apart. They're about to fall off my face. So now I'm terrified because I'm using them all the time. I'm taking them on and off all the time. And I'm like, if these things break before I get the new ones, I'm fucked. I am fucked. I have no glasses. Not like I could just, like suffer trying to drive through with the computer glasses. I have no glasses. I cannot function. I couldn't get in a car and drive down the street without glasses. Because the world is literally one giant big blur. So I'm terrified right now. I'm living on the edge. So if anybody, if any of you out there has or as blind as me and have glasses, you understand what I'm talking about. Tape them up and accept your nerddom. You know what? If they broke, I would have to go get myself some black duct tape and tape them together until the new glasses show up. AC Ray says, my insurance decided to cover an auto CPAP machine. I got it a few weeks ago and I thought what I thought was hope that it would help me live better has turned into a torture device that I have to maintain every day. Yeah, you do. I'm forced to breathe in an unnatural rhythm like a demon slayer. The moment I fall asleep, I suffocate and wake back up. First off, yes. Interestingly enough, the other thing that went on this week is, previous to me being sick, my doctor said, just go get yourself a sleep study. There's sleep studies there's an online place, $185, includes everything, includes a meeting with the doctor, includes the machine, you do it at home, and they'll let you know if you need a CPAP. I'm like, well, I don't think I do, but sure, let's try it. Can't hurt. The worst that can happen is they say no. $185 is not a lot to spend. My copay to go through my doctor to do this would be more. So, of course, they're like, "Okay, we're going to set you up for the sleep study and we're going to send you the thing." And I'm like, "I'm so sick right now. You can't give it to me right now. I can barely breathe and I'm sure I'm snoring." And she's like, "Well, you can wait a couple of weeks, but don't wait too long cuz then you'll lose your money." It's like, "No, don't do it to me." So yeah, the week I was set up for a sleep study, I can't even do that cuz I'm sick. So, and by the way, AC Wraith, about that thing with the CPAP. I know this because Kevin didn't have a CPAP, but he had something very similar to a CPAP that was assisted breathing when he slept. And if it's forcing you to breathe in an awkward way where it's actually making you struggle to breathe, it needs to be adjusted. Talk to whoever got it to you. It needs an adjustment because it should make your world much better, not much worse.
Okay.
He says, I've only managed to wear it for a little over an hour. I'm supposed to wear it for at least 4. Yeah. Talk to your doctor, the person that gave it to you, and say that it needs to be adjusted because it's suffocating you. Kevin didn't do that. And after he died, I get a recall notice on the machine that says it wasn't working properly. Please send it back. And it's like, and the whole time he was like, "I don't think it's helping me to breathe." I'm like, "Well, maybe you should call somebody." No, don't call anybody. And it was stupid. It was absolutely stupid. He could have been comfortable, but he chose to just be angry at the machine. So don't make that mistake. Contact your doctor. Tell him that it's not working for me. I think it needs to be adjusted so that it matches my breathing. AC Ray says, "I was wondering why you wanted to see long distance with LASIK. Seeing close up seems much more useful day to day." Yeah, because actually, no. I mean, day to day, seeing long distance would be way more helpful because I could drive without. And when they say long distance, like I was told that LASIK, I would be able to see my odometer and my like long distance. The odometer is like, right here in front of me, just like not that far away from me on the car. And currently, if I wear my long distance glasses, I can't see my odometer, which is always interesting. They flat out said no adjustment for this kind of machine. They said that's a whole different genre that requires another sleep test with calibration in person, which my insurance does not cover at this time. That sucks.
Yeah, that does.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know how much, like, if you have $185 to spend, but you might consider the company that my doctor recommended to me. It's a company called Lofta, LOFTA, lofta.com. It's $185. You sign up, you say what your quote unquote symptoms are or why you're looking for one. They have you meet with they do a video meeting with a physician's assistant to, check with you and see if it is warranted for you to have a sleep study, and they're totally going to do it. Then they send you a device in the mail that is on your wrist and finger that you just wear it overnight. The information is sent to them wirelessly, and then afterwards you actually meet with a physician, and that physician tells you of what CPAP you need, and then you can get the CPAP through them. And your insurance is a copay, usually. Most insurance is. So if you're interested in doing that, come to me. I can hook you up. Wrist finger tubes with up my nose they gave me for. No, this isn't that. It's like they put it's a little wrist thing that goes on your wrist, and then it's got a little thing that goes over one of your fingers. I can't remember which one it is. And then you just sleep with that on. And it will monitor what your essentially what your oxygen saturation is to determine whether you need it or not. can't hurt. But yeah, if I recommend somebody that I can get you a major discount for that. Okay. So contact me on Discord. By the way, if you don't know the Discord, here's the Discord information. This is our Discord. We would love to have you there. That's how you get a hold of us, by and large. So yeah, I'm going to struggle a little bit today on the show because I can't really see things. Like text is all I've had to make my text like this big on my screen. I'm functionally blind at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I can cover all the games.
Yeah, good.
I have
Yeah.
things to talk about.
I got one game. We'll talk about it. All right. So shall we start the show? All right.
If you feel like it.
I'm starting now. I do.
Yeah.
Podcast discusses video games, modern culture, and technology, and these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 671. It is Sunday, March 5th, 2023. Welcome to March. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Nick DiNicola. How are you? How's everything? How are you, Nick?
I'm doing really well.
Good.
I've not lost any glasses. I'm not sick.
Yeah, we were talking about it. I lost my glasses. I lost all of my computer and reading glasses this week. And it was either on public transportation, they fell out of my purse, which seems kind of weird because I think I had my purse closed, or they fell off my table and my dog got them and has hidden them somewhere. So I'm without glasses except for my progressives, which are just enough to me being able to see a computer screen. So I'm struggling today, to say the least. But Nick can breathe, lucky bastard. I'm better. I also got a cold last week on top of everything else. That the cold hit me all at once, and I'm not totally well, but by Friday night, I'm 99% better. So it hit me Tuesday. It was gone by Friday. Just a weird cold. And considering I was sick last month too, and I don't get sick like month over month, but I did. So, the nice thing is because I was working from home because my new job, I love them. I said, I'm sick and I'm staying home. And they're like, stay home until you're 100% better. Do not come in the office. They don't want me in the office because I don't want to get everybody else sick. They don't want a sick person in the office. And it's fantastic. So I was home a lot. So I got to play a lot of games. Yeah. I mean, I should say I've got to play a lot of one game.
I know you were playing it all
2042.
Saturday.
I played it all Saturday.
You invited me 4 times over the course of the day, and I felt a little bad ignoring all 4 of them, but I was playing other stuff and I was enjoying the other stuff.
Yeah. I played I didn't play it all this Saturday, but last Sunday, I played it all Sunday night. Like from the moment I got off of the show until I was like way too late to be going to bed. Yeah, I played the crap out of that game and I'm still loving it. And they just had a season 4 launch. So there's a couple of new maps that have been added and a new operative that got added. And so remember last week I said that I bought the battle pass just because it's like I'm enjoying the game so much. I want to kind of show DICE the love so that they keep this in for the solo experience against AI. So because I had progressed so far because I was playing it with you and Chris, when you buy the battle pass, it gives you credit for all the play that you've done up to that point.
Yes. There's one track, but along that track at each level, there's like
perks.
Hey, at level 1, you get a free thing. At level 2, that's only for the premium users. At level 3, you get a free thing. At level 4, that's only for the premium users. So yeah, you had like a whole backlog of stuff.
Right. Oh yeah. I bought that thing, was it last week? And I think I was level like 30 in the battle pass because of all the gameplay that we'd done previous. So, I mean, I got all of the stuff back. And one of the things that it did give you back is the coin that you have to buy the battle pass. So
really?
I spent 1,000 coin, but I got 500 coin back because I progressed so far.
Okay, that's pretty good.
So they just started season 4, which kind of wipes the slate clean on your battle pass. So I had 500 coins. It only cost me $5 to buy the next battle pass.
That's cool.
So
do you know if you can get another 500 coins, or is that kind of the max you could earn through a battle pass?
No, you could get more. Like the further you go, they, every, like 15 or 16 levels, they give you another like 100 coins or something.
Okay, so you've progressed enough, you can pay for the next battle pass.
Yeah, or there or abouts, within a small amount.
Yeah.
And conveniently enough, the battle bucks or whatever they are, battlefield coin, they do sell them in a 500 pack. So I had 500. They bought a 500 pack. That took care of it.
What's the smallest pack you can buy?
500.
Oh,
it was $5.
You could only. I don't like things like that. I thought when Microsoft phased out the Microsoft points for the 360 era that we had gotten past the point crap. Like just let me charge $1.
Yeah. No, unfortunately that's not the case. But there's enough stuff that I might want to buy. There's a couple of like decals that are kind of funny that make me laugh that I might buy if I had extra, like money just sitting around. But it was a pretty good deal, and I'm playing the crap out of it. I freaking love it. And the new maps, just them arriving right now at this time that I'm just coming back to it, really spice things up, really change things. And I'm playing against advanced AI because I progressed so far in some of my characters that, well, almost all of them now, that I've got tons of cool guns. Oh, I got a new gun. Oh, I got a new gun. And the nice thing is that you get a gun for your engineer. You can use that gun for everybody. That's another nice change.
Oh,
It used to be that Battlefield, like if you there was certain guns that support could use, but you couldn't use an assault gun. You could only if you played support, you had a support gun. So you had to kind of progress through support to get the support gun. But if you didn't play assault, then you kind of had to start with the basics. That's not the case. You just unlock guns and you can put any gun on any character. I think any class.
They still offer perks for the class appropriate guns.
Right. They do. Which is, good, but not great. I mean, it doesn't, I don't find anything wrong with, playing the wrong gun. But yeah, I just freaking love this game.
That's good.
And it's been a long time. I mean, not since Battlefield Bad Company 2 have I really enjoyed a military first-person shooter, a Battlefield and or Call of Duty game. Not like this. And I don't think I really liked Battlefield 1. because of the setting, because of the historical thing. And it happened to be that was the year I went to Europe. So I was in some of those cities that I had been fighting in, like the week before I left. So it was just kind of neat to be able to put real life, real life history, real life places, real life history in context with this game that I'm actually playing. But I didn't like playing it as much as I do this game with the co-op. It is an absolute game changer for me. So it sucks that this game was so busted when it launched, because it's turned into a really, really good game. It's turned into my favorite Battlefield.
Well, welcome to the club of all people that come to a game and are like, no, really, it's good now.
It's good. It's good now. It is. AC Ray says in 19 years, that could be the standard loadout. They don't know. So yeah, I want you to hurry up and finish the show so that I can go back to playing Battlefield right now.
Wow.
Yeah. It's bad. I was dreaming it. That's when that's my thing. I know when a game has really hooked me when I start to dream it, but I was dreaming it.
Okay, what constitutes a Battlefield dream? Is it just like, is it you being in the battle, or is it you playing the game?
Me playing the battle.
Okay, it's you in the battle.
No, it is. Is it me in the battle?
Like, are you?
No,
are you a
it's
character
more like
in the dream, or
no, I'm not a character in the dream.
In the dream, like, is it like virtual reality where you're running around a battlefield from your point of view, but you're like, no, I'm playing the game. This isn't
playing the game.
Battlefield.
I'm not playing the game in the dream, but I'm seeing it from a game point of view. Let's just say that.
Okay. It's like you're watching a YouTube video.
Yeah, but I would be like, wake up and like in the middle of the night you wake up and then go back to sleep, and it's like I'd wake up and it'd be like, oh yeah, that was a Battlefield map, and then back to sleep. Unless that's what dreaming in Battlefield. Now, Mass Effect, I was in the game. Dragon Age, I was in the game. Playing it VR, full body, the whole 9 yards. So it depends on the game. So yeah, if you haven't liked a Battlefield in the past, this is the Battlefield to try.
It's also good that at this point it's on Game Pass, which is nice. I think it's a free game it might have been for February, so you might have missed it on PlayStation, or it's for March. It's a free game. Or I also got it for like $10. Like, it's super cheap. EA is desperate.
It is the best deal.
Sell copies.
Let's see. Battlefield 2042 is the March PlayStation Plus free game. So
okay, cool.
This couldn't have hit I couldn't have fallen into this at a better time, because it is the free game, even if you don't have Battle Pass right now for PlayStation, and it is unbelievably cheap, and it is the best deal. You will, if you, like I said, if you don't like Battlefields of the past, just try it. I think you might like it.
AC Wraith has a fascinating comment. He says, I have dreams of games and consoles that don't exist, that recur so often I almost think I played them as a child. That's
really
fascinating. That it's like a recurring dream of a game that doesn't exist, but it's like, oh yeah, I remember playing that. No, that was dream me playing that. But
I want to know what those
really
games are.
Can you make those games?
Yeah. Maybe this is like the inspiration muse, like tapping you on the shoulder saying, make this game.
Did someone incept you? Did they like put you under and go into your mind and plant like a little cartridge of a video game in your dream safe to give you the inspiration for these?
Who knows? Somebody up there trying to tell you something. Make a game. So what did you play?
Okay, to catch up, last week I had mentioned that I played a lot of a PS5 game. It's called Tales of Iron. And this is a kind of 2D Souls-like Metroidvania RPG.
Mm-hmm.
I forget where I had first heard about it, but I heard some good things about it, and then I saw it was on sale, so I picked it up, and I just kind of started playing it on a whim. It's a very cheeky story about rats versus frogs. The When I say Tales of Iron, it's spelled Tails, like a rat tail, right? It's Tales of Iron. Uh, and so in the beginning,
Like
you
abs of steel.
abs.
Abs of steel.
What other way is there to spell abs?
ABS. No, just like you're saying abs of steel, like a body part of steel.
Oh, yes.
Tails of iron, meaning you have iron tails.
Yes. So you play as a rat prince, and on the day of your ascension, a bunch of frogs attack the kingdom, kill the king, basically just wreak all sorts of havoc. And so you kind of take over as the new king and have to rebuild your little rat kingdom. And that entails a lot of going out into the world, gathering supplies, fighting off groups of frogs like you see here, or fighting bugs like in the mines. So you've got various groups of enemies. It's kind of Metroidvania in that you have a 2D world and you can kind of travel to most any place in it. It kind of opens up in stages. At first you can only explore the castle, then you explore this outside town, then you explore even farther outside the town, then you start exploring underground. And with each new area you open up, you can always go back to the other ones. So the world just kind of keeps expanding bigger and bigger. And there are side quests. You can go to a little note board, pick up side quests that say, hey, there's some bugs infesting the windmill. Can you go clear them out? The combat is actually really, really good. It's slow paced, but that just makes everything feel intentional. Like your every action has to be purposeful. This is not a game of button mashing. And it I don't even feel the need to button mash because, like I said, the pace of your attacks are relatively slow. And so that means you focus on blocking, you focus on parrying, and you focus on just the pace of combat, intelligently fighting groups of enemies. The game does a neat thing where it will often set you up with pairs of enemies and when you defeat one, another will come in. And when you defeat one, another will come in. So you're kind of always fighting two enemies at once. And a lot of those enemies complement each other in ways that make the combat really interesting. Like one will have a shield, and so you can't attack them from the front. You have to do a heavy attack to smash the shield. But then you have an archer in the back. And so you've got the shield guy in front. You can't shoot arrows because it's a 2D plane. So if you shoot an arrow, the shield will block it. So it's like, okay, I've got to roll past the shield, fight the archer in the back, but then kind of get out of there before the shield guy turns around. And so it becomes this interesting dance of, do I want to stay within the archer's range and just block and parry and use that? Do I want to go on the offensive, dodge behind the shield guy to kill the archer first, and then go back to the shield guy? But then when that happens, maybe a swordsman spawns and it kind of changes the dynamic again. So it's got a really neat pace, a smart sense of combat. It's hard, but it never feels frustrating or unfair. It just feels challenging. Like it hits that challenge of difficulty really, really well. What I also like about it is its sense of humor. Like it's a game about rats fighting frogs, but a lot of the enemies, the guy's name, your main guy, is called Reggie. One of the bosses you fight is the first boss the fight that's got like a big shield that really encourages you to do heavy attacks and parrying and that type of teaching through combat. The name of the boss with the big old shield is Blocky Magoo.
Bodie McBoatface.
Exactly. And so it's clear that, like, okay, this is a game that it's cheeky, it knows it doesn't take itself super seriously. And there's just a lot of really nice touches to it. The health that you have, your health flask is bug juice. And as you drink it, you drink it, your health goes up, but the amount you have in your flask goes down. When you're fighting frogs, that's tough because every time you get hurt and you drink the bug juice to heal, you lose that bug juice. You can't refill it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're fighting bugs, every body you can harvest it for more bug juice.
Oh, smart.
So when you're fighting bugs, after every fight, if you're hurt, just take a swig of that health flask and then harvest more bug juice from the bug bodies.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a bunch of smart little touches like that make it really, really neat. That make the world, for as like cheeky and whimsical as it is, there's a narrator who's just like narrating the whole thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
The characters all talk like flutes. So it basically, when you have a rat talking, they'll have a little like pictograph. So it's like if someone's tied up, they say you little pictures of here's a key, here's a frog, here's a windmill. And it's like, oh, okay, the key is with the frog in the windmill. I've got to go over there. But as they're talking, there's like little flute sounds. And each of the rats has like a different flute tone associated with them. But yeah, and that coupled with all the smart designs make it feel like a really fleshed out, well thought out world. Like for being a pretty small game, it just has a lot of these smart little touches of world building. If there's one negative, I would say, it's that, boy, you get a lot of loot. You get a lot of weapons. And what's strange is like you don't get repeats. So every weapon you get is unique. If I pick up a spear, I'm not going to get a copy of that spear. But there are like 20 different versions of spears that range from in weight, in damage, and things like that. Most of them kind of feel the same. Excuse me. It's like, oh, this spear is slightly heavier and does slightly more damage. Why does it exist?
It's
Why
not
does it
big
exist?
enough. You're saying there's not a big enough difference between different weapons?
Yeah, like, well,
They all feel like samey.
The different types of weapons. There's a huge variety. Like, there's a huge variety of weapons, from one-handed weapons to two-handed weapons to range weapons. You can get spears that attack differently than axes that attack differently from swords. But the differences between each of the spears and each of the axes and each of the swords, a lot of it feels not negligible, but like you get 20 versions of each weapon and it kind of feels like you really could have just done 10.
Right.
It doesn't feel like you needed that many. But what is interesting is you get a lot of armor as well, but each of the armor has a defense associated with a particular enemy. So like this armor is really good against bugs. This armor is really good against frogs. And thankfully, because of the way like the world is and because of the way the quests work, you always know like what enemy you're going to fight ahead of time. If I get a side quest that says go defeat these bugs, I'm not going to fight frogs along the way. So I know, hey, I'm just going to go.
You can use the bug armor with pretty safely.
Yeah.
Knowing that.
And that's a nice touch. The fact that it gives you this ability to kind of respec your character for the fight ahead. That you know what the fight ahead is going to be, and then B, that it gives you the ability to pretty easily respec your stuff. For as many items as you get, I think the inventory management and the UI for how to equip all these items is really, really good. Which is important because another game I played is the exact opposite.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So this game, yeah, you get a lot of stuff, but it does a good job of making making the important stuff stand out and giving you the ability to easily determine what do I want, what do I not want.
Right.
And because you don't get copies of anything, it's not like I'm selling items, right? So it's not like I have to worry about inventory space of, oh, this is cluttering up my inventory. I'm going to sell this. It's like, no, I got this spear and now it's in my inventory in its predetermined slot.
So yeah, I mean, essentially, it allows you to hoard like you do in all your games.
Yeah, but it's designed for that.
Yeah,
like it from the beginning. Like I said, each unique weapon has a predetermined inventory slot.
right.
So it's not like things are getting cluttered. Collecting all the weapons is kind of encouraged by the design of the game. It's made from the ground up with this idea that, hey, we want you to collect things, which is nice. It's nice to play a game that where the design of the game and the UI accurately reflects the intentions of the developer, right? Hey, we want you to collect this thing, so we're going to design an inventory system that encourages you to collect things. So
Right.
yeah, it's very cool. Highly recommended if you like Metroidvanias or Souls likes. It's a very good one. I'm looking forward to going back to it. It's super high on my list.
All right, good. So what else did you play?
The game that I played most of the time that I played when you were inviting me is Wolong Fallen Dynasty. This is a newly released Souls-like game from Team Ninja, developers of the Neo series. Came out on the 3rd of March on Game Pass. So brand new. I've been looking forward to it.
I was watching Young Ya, and he said that it scratches his Sekiro itch.
I can see that. It's definitely a fast-paced game like Sekiro. I enjoy it. I enjoy the bones of it. I think it's a very good game with a very good gameplay loop. But there's a whole lot of extra baggage on the side that I think that constantly is like, oh, this is so dumb. This is so dumb. This is stupid. So basically, the core gameplay loop, like you play as a militia member during the Yellow Turban Rebellion in China. The Yellow Turban Rebellions, turns out, are actually part of like some magical zombie thingamajig. Evil people doing evil magic. So the noble
bad people bad.
So the noble Chinese militia members have to team up with this nameless warrior who's like got
Good
magic
people,
of their
good.
own. It's so much like that of like, oh yes, we are the militia. Oh, these yellow turbans. It's all the things of like one of the small members goes up to a general. Is like, General, we're losing. We have to retreat. Naturally, he gets like set on fire by the general, and he's like, you never retreat. And then he joins the fight, and it's like,
yeah,
it's anime as fuck in its storytelling to a degree that is laughable and kind of dumb. I think the story is really dumb. It helps. The combat is really great.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, it has a super big emphasis on parries. So basically, you can kind of block almost any attack. You don't have a shield, but if you just like lift up your sword, you can block basically any attack. You can, if you block too many, you can get exhausted, right? They kind of break your dodge and you have to have a second to recover. That makes sense. But the emphasis on, like right there, what you just saw, he parried like those 4 poison balls that this boss threw at him.
Got it.
And what that does, the whole point of parrying is not that it does damage to the boss, but that it raises your spirit meter. And that allows you to do a spirit attack. And a spirit attack, basically the enemy has 2 bars. The top is a health bar that is constantly going down from right to left. The bottom is like a spirit bar that's constantly filling from left to right. So if you do a lot of spirit attacks, that raises the spirit bar going from left to right. You do damage, their health goes down from right to left. When those two bars meet, you can do a fatal attack that oftentimes is not actually fatal, so it's a bit of a misnomer, but it does do a lot of damage. And that's kind of the general loop of the fight is make those two bars meet one way or another, do a fatal attack, take down a lot of health, then do more of that. So like as the boss gets closer and closer to death, it becomes easier and easier to do that fatal attack because it means that their health bar is closer to the left side, which is where the spirit bar begins to fill. Like, right?
Right.
So that's the general loop of combat is doing enough deflecting to fill your spirit gauge that you can execute a spirit attack, which makes them easier to do a big attack on the boss. And there's a lot of that. And that's really, really cool. In terms of the loop of each level, because it is kind of level based, it doesn't use the typical leveling system of an RPG.
Right.
You are gaining levels, like as you get experience points and you put them into your character, you're getting more health, and you're saying, I'm gonna get more when I attack an enemy, I get some spirit damage. I'm gonna increase that stat. When I deflect, I'm gonna get spirit damage. I'm gonna increase that stat. But generally, throughout the level, you're not really increasing attack or defense. I'm just increasing the amount of spirit damage I do, not the actual damage that I do. That comes from your morale. So every level, you begin at 0 morale. And as you kill enemies, that morale goes up. The little bar fills, and it fills up from, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right.
Throughout the level, they're all battle flags. If you take that flag and you plant it, you're kind of like planting your flag in an area, and you're raising your base morale. So you start at 0. When you find one flag and you plant it, your base morale goes up to 2. Because normally when you die, you lose morale. And so in that way, you become weaker. Every level of morale you gain increased attack and defense and all that stuff.
Right.
And so as you're exploring level, if I'm morale level 3 and I see an enemy that's morale level 10, I'm not going to fight him because he's going to kick my ass.
Right. So it becomes like a health. I don't want to say health, but like a power
Yeah,
meter.
it's a power level.
A power level.
But as you explore and you plant these flags, your base power level goes up. And so that encourages you to go out and explore as much as you can. Because generally what I found is like you will get to the end of a level at around 20 to 25 morale, at least in like the first quarter of the game I've played. Well, if you plant enough flags throughout the level, like your base morale can get to like 21. And so, that's great. When the boss of the level is morale 18 and my base is 21, that means I'm going into that final boss fight with a bit of an advantage over them.
Right.
And it's a really neat system that encourages exploration, that kind of erases the need for grinding. It basically replaces the need for grinding with the need for exploration.
Right.
So yeah, that's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's a very clever way of doing it too.
So where I don't like about this game is that in addition to like the morale system and all the stuff that works, there's like a whole elemental system, but it's not like rock, paper, scissors element. It's like I forget what it was in the Big Bang Theory, but there's 5 elements, not just 3.
Was it rock, paper, scissors, something Spock?
Yes. Let me see if I get this correctly.
Somebody will know. What is it?
A,
rock, paper, scissors. What is it? It's something Spock.
Okay, I'm trying to remember how the elements work. So
it sounds like all the cold kung fu movies I used to watch. That the graphics look very nice. Datman says.
Yeah. So I think like earth,
I saw metal.
Yeah, okay. So earth has an advantage against water. Water
Right.
has an advantage against fire. Fire has an advantage against metal. Metal has an advantage against wood. And wood has an advantage against earth.
Right.
That's a lot of shit to remember
Right.
in the middle of battle. But also, I don't know if the enemies actually have elemental alignments. Sometimes it feels like they do. Like if an enemy's throwing a bunch of fire at me, I think he's got an element of fire.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know for sure. So it's like this huge elemental system that I think matters, but kind of doesn't. If it matters, I can't really feel it.
Right.
You get a ton of loot. I said in Tales of Iron you get a lot of weapons. Oh,
Really?
this game is like, hey, guess what? We're gonna get you. You want some yellow turban soldier bracers? Here's 4 of them. Do they do anything different? Not really. But here's 4 of them. It's like, oh, you find equipment everywhere, and it's like yellow turban soldier braces, yellow turban commander braces, yellow turban something else braces, yellow turban
Lieutenant
commander
bracers.
greaves, and it's like, oh Jesus, okay. And you go into the menu, and each of them have like a rarity rating from 1 to 5. And that determines how many additional stats are associated with that piece of armor.
Right.
Thankfully, if you could find any sort of picture of the menu, there's like these 3 stats at the top. That is defense, spirit defense, physical defense. And those like 3 numbers at the top of the screen that are big, big numbers. And then below that, there's like 10 other smaller stats. It's like plus 2.5% damage against chilled enemies, minus 2.6% damage reduction when staggered. And it's a whole bunch of little things like that, that again, I don't really know if it matters. I don't even know how to chill an enemy to get that 2.5 damage bonus against chilled enemies. But also, it's 2.5%.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
But it seems like that would be something that would be good to stack, like 2.5% on one thing and 2.5% on another and 2.5% another. We're talking about 15%.
It could. And it might be someone might have the patience to like look through all that, but the inventory management sucks.
Oh.
For all the stuff you get, trying to like compare, there is no compare. You can't just like, hey, what do I have equipped versus what am I going to equip?
That's a bad idea, especially when you've got that much stuff that you can compare to.
Yes.
It just becomes like too much.
So here's the thing. If you pause it here, pause it. Oh, wait. Oh, go back like 10 seconds. Go forward a little bit. I'm trying to look at the specific. Pause. Okay. So right at this screen, you see attack power, base attack, and attack status, I think.
Yeah.
Like, and then under that, you see spirit and a whole bunch of spirit stats. You see special effects. And then under that is a whole bunch of other stuff. The top things, the attack power and base attack, it does compare what you currently have with what you're getting. So like on the screen, you can see attack power. 134 is my current attack power. This weapon has 168. And so it's highlighted in blue with an arrow going up.
Right.
So those like top stats, it does compare. Nothing else it does, which leads me to believe that none of it matters, which is just like all these stats, a lot of stats, all this time spent like focusing on whatever procedurally generated special effects this does, none of it matters. And it's a lot of things like that where I really enjoy the loop of the game of going into a level, fighting enemies, getting to the end of the level and going on. But at every step of the way, I'm faced with, hey, here's some elemental stuff that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Hey,
AC Ray says Chinese Buddhist elements. What's it? Wuxing?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And Bitter says the Feng Shui elements. Yep. He says this is a standard real life element relations, Nick.
Sure, but that doesn't change the fact that it's a lot to remember, and also none of it matters.
No, yeah, that's true.
And
are you sure that it doesn't matter? That maybe it's like it doesn't matter so much in the early game, but it will in the later game?
Maybe, but like it should matter now. I'm a solid like 30 to 40% of the way through the game.
Okay, yeah. By now you'd think it would matter.
And that's my biggest hurdle with this game is that I really enjoy it. I think it's a good game. But I'm constantly running into those things of like, oh, here's a piece of armor. I don't care about this shit. Oh, hey, here's some elemental stuff. I don't care about this. No, this doesn't matter. Oh, you got a yellow turban greaves. It's like, I don't care. This is
blah,
dumb.
blah, 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 blah. Moving right along. Come on, speed it up. Yeah. Talk.
So
let's move.
I'm constantly like having fun, and then I'm just like, oh yeah, here's this dumb thing again. Oh yeah, here's this other dumb thing again. God, this game's so dumb. It's really fun. God, this game is dumb. And the fact that there's so many different systems in here that, at least so far, don't seem relevant to the actual gameplay.
Right.
I find that so stupid that.
Yeah. Well, it gets in the way of actually enjoying the game because then you're constantly, second guessing of, is this important? Because obviously some things aren't.
Yeah. And I think it makes me think less of the game than it deserves.
You're right.
Because I do enjoy the game. I think it's really good. And I want to play more of it. But like I said, every time I face some sort of elemental thing, I just roll my eyes. Every time I get a new piece of loot, it's like, I don't even want to look at that. I know it's pointless.
Right. Yeah. Chandrak said it was too much fluff. Bitters, who says that this game looks like my kind of game, says that just frees you up to only equip the cool looking edgy stuff. Got a point.
But like, there's not
wear whatever you want.
At least so far, I haven't gotten a lot of cool looking edgy stuff. And I guess this is another way where I feel like there's a whole bunch of things in the game that just don't quite fit together. It's like a whole bunch of mismatched, like Lego pieces where the bottom is misaligned and so it doesn't click into the top. And one aspect of that is, like I said, I'm a militia member fighting the Yellow Turban Rebellion, right? They are the bad guys. They also kind of have the best armor in the game so far. So I'm dressed up like a Yellow Turban Rebellion member. And it gets into like kind of weird when I run across a new character and they're like, oh, I see you're a militia soldier. Like, how do you know that?
I look like a yellow turban.
I've got the yellow turban. I've got a yellow garb.
I'm literally wearing a yellow turban.
Yellow. Everything about me is yellow. And like, this is one of the things where I'm like, this is really dumb, but it's also really fun.
So was this it's an Xbox game, obviously. Was this a Game Pass?
Yes, it is.
That's good. At least you didn't have to like pay for it to find out it's got problems.
Yeah. And like if I had, I wouldn't have minded because like I said, I'm enjoying it. I think the combat's really fun. I want to play more of it. It's just
you just have to appreciate it past its, other faults that make it weird and awkward.
And I think those other faults, like I said, make me think less of it than it deserves. I think it's better than those faults, but I just see those faults and I'm just like, to me, I think they make it more lesser than other people would.
Yeah. Do you think that maybe the game is unfinished? Like they intended to put something in and then didn't? And then it's like, it's too much work to take it out. So let's just roll with it.
Maybe.
I mean, I can't imagine a company doing that, but if you've got this mechanic that literally doesn't do anything and they put all this effort into making a mechanic, makes you wonder maybe, something went horribly wrong.
Maybe, but I mean, that was my issue with Red Dead Redemption 2 as well, in that game had a ton of systems in it, none of which interacted with each other and none of which really mattered. Hey, did you know you could pick flowers? Did you know there's a whole leveling system in Red Dead Redemption 2 for picking flowers? There's a whole class and mini games and everything for picking flowers.
Yeah.
You know what picking flowers does?
Nothing.
Absolute jack shit. It's like, hey, do you like picking flowers? Maybe. Well,
yeah, but that was like almost like a collection thing. That's slightly different as opposed to like a fight mechanic.
I mean, the same thing goes for hunting in that game. In Red Dead 2. It's like, hey, you can hunt.
No, you would get weapons. You would get like special weapons and stuff, access to special stuff for hunting. I remember that.
I don't remember that. I just remember I did some hunting and I tried to sell the pelts and I got like 100 gold for the pelts. And I was like,
you would get, there was other stuff. There was like missions where you had to kill certain amounts of certain things. I remember because I went hunting for buffalo for a really fucking long time. Really long time. So I remember, and it was for a good reason. I wouldn't have just like, hey, I want to hunt buffalo because I'm a dick.
Well, I didn't like that game. This game is much better, I think.
Yeah, Chunderbox says so many negative reviews on Steam for this.
Yeah, he says that, and AC Wraith said that I guess the PC port really sucks.
Let's see. Nick gets to blow this console horn this time because the PC port sucks. It's mostly rated negative. 8,921 on Steam. That's impressively bad on Steam.
Yeah,
but it's port. I mean, it was obviously written for PlayStation, and we will actually talk about that specifically, that specific issue, when we get to the news.
Okay.
So, anything else?
Yes, I played another VR game. I've not played the two like big VR games. I still haven't played Horizon Call of the Mountain or No Man's Sky.
Okay.
Which are kind of like what I've heard are like the big system sellers. Instead, I played this exhausting, awesome game called Pistol Whip.
Okay.
This is, like I said last time, it's like Rez, where you're on a track going forward. Enemies appear around you, and you shoot those enemies with a handgun. But you get more points if you shoot them on the beat of the music as it's going. So it's almost like a rhythm shooting game.
Okay.
At the same time, if an enemy gets close enough to you, you can smack them. Right? You can pistol whip them to do damage.
Uh-huh.
At the same time, obstacles will appear in front of you, and you have to lean left or right to the side to dodge it. Oh, Jesus, I don't know what difficulty this madman is playing on in this video, but it's not the difficulty I played on. I played on something way, way easier, and I still got my ass handed to me. So yeah, it's really cool. What's interesting though is that, it's a VR game, so it's tracking your head. So even as these enemies shoot at you, and even as they like put up pillars in front of you that kind of force you to go to the side, they're not tracking your body; they're tracking your head. So what that means is, when you have like 10 guys shooting at you at once, to dodge all those bullets,
and you give yourself whiplash.
You do some Keanu Reeves. So I'm standing in the living room, like swinging my head around wildly, trying to dodge all these bullets.
Oh, I really have to get Rachel to make some videos of that. That sounds awesome.
So the first time I played this game, it was like 11:30 at night, And I was like, I've got some time to try out this game, and then I'll kick back and watch some movies and stuff. So I put it on. I play a level, play another level, play another level, and at this point, I'm like breathing heavy. I can feel myself sweating because I'm dodging left and right. I take off the headset. Do you know what time it was?
What?
11:45.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh Jesus.
Oh.
So yeah, it's a game that is best played in very short increments because, like I said, you are moving around a whole hell of a lot. What is neat is that, for as simple as it is, because it's a very simple concept, right? It's just go along this path, shoot these guys to the beat,
and don't get hit.
Yeah. It has like a lot of ways to mix up that simple premise. You can configure styles, and the styles are basically modifications you can add to each level. Maybe you want to use a 6-shooter instead of a pistol. Maybe you want to have infinite ammo. Maybe you want it so that scores only matter when you shoot enemies on the beat. Maybe only headshots count.
Oh, interesting.
So you can really mix it up. And there are like some developer designed modifications. One of which I thought was really clever is called Wick Grimes, after John Wick and Frank Grimes of The Walking Dead, which basically gives you 2 6-shooters like Rick Grimes would have,
right?
But only headshots matter on enemies, as if they were zombies. And let me tell you, that's really hard. It's really hard to get only headshots. The game is very generous. If you just kind of point in the general direction of a guy and shoot, you'll hit him, right? You may not get an accurate shot, but you'll shoot him, which is nice because that allows you to kind of feel like a badass. Keanu Reeves, John Wick dude, because I'm just like, boo, 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 boo. It's like, I don't have to look. I know this guy over there. So yeah, it's a simple arcadey premise done really, really well. That is way more tiring than I expected it to be, but it's fun.
Oh God, this is just giving me motion sickness just watching it. God.
I guess one of the interesting things, I didn't really think about this, because it's
Goalie says it looks like you're playing a battle in a bottle of Pepto-Bismol.
I didn't really think, but yeah, you're constantly moving forwards. But because it's on a rail and because I'm not controlling it, there really is at no point did I ever even feel a hint of motion sickness. Not that like that's usually an issue for me, but even then, with some of the games where I have free movement and I'm walking around, every now and then I'll turn and I'll kind of feel my body turn. It's like, oh no, don't turn your body. This is a fake body. But in this game, because it's all automatic, like you're moving forward at the same speed all the time, motion sickness isn't really an issue because like there is no outside control. You're just walking.
Yeah.
And that the consistency, I think, takes away from a lot of the risk of motion sickness.
It almost looks, I'm going to say it's not exactly Super Hot, but it does remind me of Super Hot.
It's got real Super Hot vibes for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is your Super Hot VR that you want so badly. Just the first version.
Yes. Until Super Hot comes out.
Right. Yeah. Chunderbox definitely agrees. He says VR can be a bit of a cardio workout with some games. Yeah. And yes, thank you, AC Wraith. Here, if you're hear more Goalie, don't forget Goalie has his own show, Digital to Dice podcast, growing constantly.
I'll end by saying the level that I played the other night that I could not beat is one within their story mode. Basically like a series of developer designed levels with developer modifications. One of them is, oh, my gun's out of ammo. So that means you have to pistol whip enemies that are close enough But if they're not close enough, you just dodge. That's all you can do. And oh jeez, when you have 3 enemies on each side of you shooting at the same time, it's like, okay, here it goes. Squat, jump up, just whip my head around like a madman and hope that I don't get hit. So far, it hasn't worked. I've died every single time.
Well, that's a game that, I would never play, but I'm glad you did and you enjoyed
it. Whenever you come over and you show up, I show you the PSVR, you'll have to play it on easy mode, which is pretty easy, and you'll get the sense of like, okay, this is kind of cool.
No, I don't know. I know I won't. No, I won't. That's so not me. So not me.
Yeah, you will.
No.
Yeah, you will.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So any other games?
I briefly played another game on Game Pass Xbox called Atomic Heart.
Oh, sorry, Atomic Heart. Yeah, you didn't put it in there, but yeah, Atomic.
No,
I saw
didn't
you
put it in
playing
there.
Atomic Heart when I was playing Battlefield.
Yes.
Goalie. You got to play Battlefield 2042. You will love it. Play the co-op. Play the solo co-op. You play against and with AI, and it's fan-freaking-tastic. It's everything that you love about Battlefield without all the suck that you hate about Battlefield. It is your game. It is your game. Just saying. So anyway, you were saying Atomic Heart, you were playing it when I was playing Battlefield.
Yeah, I didn't get very far into it because it's got a cool beginning, but then you kind of enter an area that's very dark, and I was playing it in the middle of the day with a bunch of light coming in.
Yeah, I had that same problem with a lot of dark games.
Yeah, and so it's like I'm trying to dodge this crazy robot and hit it with an axe, but I can't see it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play something else, and that's when I started playing Wolong.
Got it.
So I'll probably have more to say about Atomic Heart later.
All right. So I guess that's all we have about games. Why don't we Willow Smith whip my hair?
But
okay. Yeah, let's hit let me hold on. Wait, I gotta get there. All right, let's hit the news. This is first item is Nick.
I need to pull up what I have.
All right. Well, I will. I guess we'll hit you from the big news. I guess the bigger news this week. And it's a two-parter. The first part of it is barely a month after Forspoken came out. It was announced that the studio that made it is being absorbed. They're not being shut down. They're being absorbed by Square Enix.
Yeah,
now,
well,
if you recall, Forspoken did not do well at all. It was a pretty unmitigated flop.
Well, like the production company was always a part of Square Enix.
Yeah, Luminous Productions is the name of they were their own company, they were a subsidiary or studio owned by Square Enix. Now they're being absorbed and becoming part of Square Enix, and Luminous Productions will be no more.
Yes.
So the announcement was made on Twitter this week. The announcement said, beginning May 1st, our talented team will join Square Enix to deliver new, innovative gaming experiences to players across the globe. Between now and then, we remain entirely focused on Forspoken. We are currently working on the previously announced patch to address the overall game performance, because that was very much an issue, was game performance. They said we will deliver an update soon, and the DLC in Tanta We Trust is on track for a release this summer. And the DLC is not being put out because, honestly, it's not gonna get people back to playing the game. They're releasing it because there were people that bought the digital deluxe edition.
Oh yeah,
which was promised the DLC, so they have to,
which is important.
Yeah, it's an obligation. It's not because they expect it to do well. It's because it's kind of a waste of time to be doing that right now, except for that obligation. So they said thank you again for your patience and support. So Square Enix did release a statement about it and saying in part, quote, the merger is part of the company's effort to further bolster the competitive prowess of the group's development studios. Luminous Production Company Limited is meanwhile equipped not only with a AAA title development AAA title development capabilities, but also technical expertise in areas such as game engine development. Combining these two entities will further enhance the group's ability to develop HD games. So essentially, wah, 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 wah. You didn't do well. Something had to happen. Heads had to roll, and we're just gonna bring you back in and then put you on stuff within the house.
Yeah, but it
not
doesn't
out
sound like
in the open.
the studio's not being shut down. Like, I don't really think
They're
anyone's
absorbed.
losing their job.
Maybe.
Like, well, maybe some managers and stuff, but not like a bunch of especially based on that statement. Like, this is a group of developers who have shipped a modern console AAA game, which not a lot of studios at Square Enix have.
Right.
So that just I think that just gives Square Enix some tools to, like, hey, here's a group of people that can help make the next Final Fantasy because they have experience working on like PlayStation 5.
Right.
With
so
Unreal
they're not losing their people, and they're not like firing everybody.
Yeah, they're just kind of losing a level of autonomy.
Yes. But you know who is getting fired? Square Enix has announced that it is going to be replacing Yosuke Matsuda, the CEO. Sorry, not CEO, president. My bad. I'll change the caption later. The president and representative director, pending approval of the company's annual shareholders when they have their meeting in June. So Matsuda has been at Square since 2013. He's going to be replaced by Takashi Kiryu. Takashi Kiryu, who currently serves as a director within the company. So yeah, that happened. And I don't think that they're mutually exclusive. That's Forspoken really did not do well. And let's not forget that Yosuke Matsuda is the dude who was all about NFTs and blockchain. He when they had their 2023 they released a New Year's letter, 2023, Yosuke Matsuda did, and he mentioned blockchain 14 times in the letter. He was Mr. NFTs. That we're gonna put NFTs in our games. We believe in blockchain. We think that this is great. We think this is awesome. And it's like, yeah, no, it's not. It's like, no, it is. So I don't know anything about Takashi Kiryu, but I would imagine simply because Yosuke Matsuda is, I don't want to say lost his head, but at least having the crown taken from him by the powers that be, makes me think that they're looking for a different direction. And that may very well include NFTs and blockchain, or it may exclude it. We don't know.
I would temper the hopes for exclusion.
I would too. Well,
so
I mean, also remember, Yosuke Matsuda is the guy who sold Crystal Dynamics and the Square Enix Montreal and the Eidos Montreal and Tomb Raider and all that other stuff to Embracer Group.
Yeah.
For a song.
Oh yeah. They didn't want those studios, but
Yosuke Matsuda didn't want the studios. I don't know that that's not what the shareholders wanted. I think the shareholders might be a wee bit upset.
Maybe. That could be. If anything, that's a bigger reason than his NFT stuff, because according to this article on Kotaku, Takashi Kiryu, before he started working at Square, was the general manager at Dentsu Innovation Initiative, which was a business group exploring the metaverse and opportunities in the metaverse.
Web 3.0.
And the statement that Square Enix put out about this change.
I'm just shaking.
A shake weight.
Yes, I'm shaking a shake weight.
Yeah,
yes,
of course.
Yes, that's a salad dressing. I'm shaking a bottle of salad dressing.
You should set this down.
Yes.
Yeah. The statement Square Enix gave about the Switch also sounds like it's like, oh, you're kind of doubling down on the NFT stuff. The quote is, under the rapid change of business environment surrounding the entertainment industry, the proposed change is intended to reshape the management team with the goal of adopting ever-evolving technological innovations and maximizing on the creativity of the company's group in order to deliver even greater entertainment to its customers around the world. That sounds like, hey, guess what?
More NFTs. Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah, I tell. Well, that looks like we're still in NFT hell for Square Enix,
which is kind of ironic because I think they've only put out one NFT thing,
right? And it didn't do well.
No, I mean I've never heard of it again, but
no.
I feel like that's all NFT things. They come out and you never hear from them again.
It's gonna finally get through to some of these crypto bros and these NFT bros that it's a scam. It's a scam. It's a place for people to scam each other. Oh, there is nothing there. NFTs are just they're a token.
I mean, I think just already
a receipt.
Seen the bottom of it drop out
for someone to scam another person out of money. So eventually they'll figure it out when they start making games that are full of NFTs and nobody wants to play them. I just hope so. I just hope so.
I mean, look, that's already
that was
happened.
Kind of the big news.
It's already happened. The bottom's already fallen out of that market in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
But look,
the bottom was only there in that market for about 6 months, and then it wasn't.
There's a sucker investor born every minute. There's always going to be someone to fund some type of scammy game, and they will lose money. But for the most part, like the idea of NFTs infiltrating mainstream gaming, I don't think you have to worry about any of that.
Mm-hmm. So Chenderbox says about 2042. I haven't tried that mode yet in Battlefield 2042. Did put in another 6 hours on it yesterday and loved it.
Cool.
If you're not busy later, you're welcome to join my team in playing with it, because it's, as much as you might like it, you feel like a god in that game, and it's just challenging enough where you might get killed every once in a while, but you'll always get points. Yeah, so that was kind of the big news this week, was in Square Enix world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's other Square Enix news that we'll talk about in a bit. Nick.
My news, probably the most surprising, unexpected news, is this news that the Hitman studio, IO Interactive, is making an online fantasy RPG. We don't actually know a whole lot of details, other than
that's enough details that I'm like, tell me more. I am intrigued.
Yeah. So I guess in April of 2021, a site called Windows Central had a rumor that IO had teamed up with Microsoft to work on a, quote, dragon-themed IP.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably what this is. And if they've teamed up with Microsoft, that probably means it'll be an Xbox exclusive. This would be the second game in their I don't know, queue, because there's also, we've known that they're working on a James Bond game.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is likely to come out after that. So, but it's also just like a very weird pivot for a studio that,
I know.
they've made Hitman games for like the past decade and a half.
Right. And James Bond is not like that big a departure from him.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Go from that to online fantasy RPG, every one of those words is like completely outside the wheelhouse.
I know. If it was if it, when I read that, I was like, wait, is it April 1st or March 1st when I read that? Because it sounds like an April Fool's joke. So, but I'm not going to lie. Online fantasy RPG, I would those 3 words together, regardless of it being Hitman Studio making it, have me intrigued. It makes me appreciate how much how the industry has moved in general away from that genre and how much I miss it. That when I heard Hitman Studio making online fantasy RPG, I was like, I love every single word of that sentence. So, yeah,
Have you really not put many?
Huh?
Fantasy. I feel like there's still a lot of fantasy RPGs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but
maybe not online.
Yeah, exactly.
But how many onlines do you really need? How many?
There's Final Fantasy 16.
Elder Scrolls
That's
online.
about it. Yeah,
Final
Elder Scrolls
Fantasy
Online, Final Fantasy, and that's it. And both of them, they have their issues. They have their issues that make me, not want to play them. So that's why I'm not playing them.
Have you tried Black Desert Online? I just know of that because I think it's on Game Pass, and it keeps offering, keeps recommending it to me. And I'm like, I know that it has a super crazy in-depth character creator, but other than that, I know nothing about the game.
Black Desert?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look into it. But it hasn't recommended it to me, so it must not be online fantasy RPG, because if it was, it would be recommending it to me.
Thunderbox recommends Lost Ark.
Have I tried Lost Ark? I can't remember if I did. AC Ray says single player fantasy RPG sounds more like what their existing fan base would want. True. But I'm all for people trying new things, And here's the thing. If Square Enix screwed up an online fantasy RPG, people would be like, how could you screw this up? Because that's not far out of their wheelhouse. If the Hitman studio makes a kind of middling online fantasy RPG, people will be like, it's kind of interesting. I mean, it's a good try. It's a good start. Because we don't expect that from this company. It gives them a certain amount of freedom to kind of explore stuff and make mistakes that another studio might not be able to do. What do you think of the upcoming PAX Day? I don't know. What do you think about PAX Day? What's
I didn't hear about that. That's a game. I'm on the Steam page.
Yeah.
It's an MMO, a fantasy medieval MMO. It's got a really cool trailer. No release date at the moment, though.
Yeah. Social sandbox MMO game using Unreal 5. PAX Day is an MMO. Just looking at the headlines. PAX Day is an MMO that looks like an Arthurian dream and has no NPCs. Huh. Interesting. Looking at Polygon, they're saying it blends elements. Has the base building of Rust, politics of EVE Online. Ooh.
Interesting.
That sounds kind of cool. Also, sounds like it would be really toxic. Take two incredibly toxic games and say you can combine the elements of it. It's like, how much toxic can you build into a game?
No, I'm going to disagree about that. From everything I've heard about EVE Online, it does not sound toxic in the way that people think when you say the word toxic.
True,
it doesn't sound like it's a community
toxic.
Defined by sexism and racism and profanity and trolling.
Like Rust is.
Yeah, it's it's more toxic in the way that Game of Thrones is a very toxic environment, you know?
Yes.
Full
The
of
toxicity of Eve plus the toxicity of Rust, put them together, and it's like a nightmare engine.
But it's like, hey, do you want all the backstabbing and suffering and misery of Game of Thrones in space, but do you want it like without the racism and the sexism and the trolling? EVE Online is your type of game. So maybe that's the good type of toxism to try to replicate.
It's kind of like highly competitive toxic versus just general like toxic.
Yeah.
So the answer to your PAX Day, like that headline right there from Polygon, makes me incredibly unenthusiastic about ever dropping into that. Bitter says it's hard to be toxic when your buddies can smack you with an axe. And AC Ray says no NPCs sound like a certain post-apocalyptic game that needed to add them later. Yeah, let's not forget that.
You know what? This is kind of a departure. Speaking of hitting people with an axe, I keep seeing videos of Sons of the Forest because that game recently came out on early access, and it's kind of making me want to play The Forest because I'm sure I have it on some platform somewhere.
I will totally play it with you.
But like, it's one of those survival co-op games, which I normally don't like. But I've
played quite a bit of it solo.
I'm seeing enough videos going like, oh, that might be kind of cool.
I think you'd really like it because it's survival horror and it's a really interesting horror story. It's a kind of horror story that you would really love.
So, yeah,
kind of messed up stuff happening there.
Damn that game for playing the long con and like slowly intriguing me about it.
Yeah, man, that's almost if it's a stupid reason to buy a PlayStation, a PSVR headset.
I don't think
Forest
it's
isn't
available.
on PS, is it?
What is?
Forest isn't on PlayStation, is it?
I think it is. I don't think it's
Forest PlayStation VR.
If it is, it's not VR2 compatible.
Okay. Because I mean, if it was, man, I would be hard pressed not to one night with a couple of drinks in me buy it just so I could play for The Forest in VR with you.
Let me see. The Forest on PlayStation Network doesn't even support PSVR, let alone PSVR 2.
Okay.
Good.
That just saved me $600.
I do know there was another survival foresty game called Green Hell that is coming to PSVR 2.
No.
But I honestly don't know anything about that.
Yeah. No. I would play The Forest with you. Because I think you would really, really like The Forest. Really like The Forest.
Oh, this is interesting. AC Wraith linked to a little warning that said, although this game is playable on PS5, some features available on PS4 may be absent.
Interesting. Yeah.
I mean, not like I have a choice. I mean, I guess I could just buy it on Xbox. I do have multiple consoles.
Is it not on Xbox Game Pass? Because I will play it with you. It's been a long time since I played it though.
Oh no, The Forest is not on Xbox.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, it's been a long time since I played it. And I was doing pretty good. I was doing pretty good for a while.
You know what? I have the segue. I have it all. So I'm looking at a Reddit post, and someone asks, "Will The Forest ever be ported to the Xbox One?" And someone replies, "Probably not. PlayStation paid for exclusivity." Which brings me to my next news story. that Sony may have to divulge what it pays for game exclusivities. A court says that they might have to do it as part of the Activision Blizzard, settlement.
Oh, did that backfire? Oh, did that backfire?
As part of the discovery, Xbox is like, hey, we want to see all this information. Sony says we want to see all this information.
Careful what you ask for.
Sony had said, no, we can't give you this information because it's too broad.
Right.
Most recently, a court came back and said that at least this information they will have to divulge. I think the specifics were Sony said, emails that are in Japanese, trying to translate it would be too much work. The court said, no, we don't buy that. But they did say, I guess originally Microsoft wanted like emails going back a decade or something like that. And the court said, no, that's too much. We only want emails going back to 2019. So like emails from the past 3 years, whether in Japanese or not, that are at least related to exclusivity.
You don't understand
contracts.
Japanese. I think it would be too difficult. We can't really translate Japanese. It's like,
look, nobody at Sony speaks Japanese. Okay. That's a dirty little secret. No one here knows. We've all just been faking it this whole time.
Oh, wow. The guys up in Washington, up in Seattle, must have been laughing their asses off. Redmond must have been. Oh, you could hear the cackles when that argument came back. Oh, it's in Japanese. We couldn't possibly translate it. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is a pretty standard operating procedure. Is with lawsuits, is if someone brings a suit against you, the first thing you do is ask for discovery of something that they don't want discovered. I mean, talking about corporations.
But I mean, in this case, like, that's pretty relevant information.
Absolutely. It makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it'll be very interesting to see some of these numbers come to light.
Oh yeah. Was there any information on a deadline of when they needed to turn that over? Because usually they give a deadline.
Let's see. According to this Kotaku article, no. But if Microsoft does decide to pursue this, they won't be pushing an all-time compendium. They're limited to deals made after January 1st, 2019. Yeah. So any revelations would only include exclusivity agreements made after that date. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm
wondering. What games were PlayStation exclusive after 2019? What games are we talking about here?
Speaking of Square Enix, Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, true. All right.
Speaking of Square Enix, Final Fantasy 7 Remake.
No.
Yeah,
they probably wouldn't have to make a lot of. They wouldn't have to make a lot of money. They would not have to offer Square Enix a lot of money to be exclusive, simply because it's Japanese to Japanese. Like they know their market, and a Japanese company will be more inclined to have a exclusivity on the Japanese console as opposed to the American console. Yeah.
Well,
it's the companies that are like the American games, the American companies, the Western, shouldn't say American, but Western companies that got exclusives. Well, that were given exclusive deals for exclusivity on PlayStation. Those are the ones I'm more interested to see.
I forget. I think it was last week when Microsoft met with like the people at the EU, and then afterwards they were talking about, Sony's got like the split between Sony and Microsoft in terms of the industry, and like Europe is 70-30, and in Japan it's like 94-6 or something like that. Conveniently, they didn't mention what the split is in the US, which is, obviously Xbox's biggest location. But that point about Japan, I don't remember the exact numbers, but I know it was something like 90 something to single digit Xbox in terms of like how much of the Japanese market do they kind of have control over.
Right.
If Square Enix considers Japan to be its primary market, Like, there's honestly no reason for them to port anything to Xbox because Xbox practically doesn't exist in the Japanese market.
Right.
Now, they're not. Like, they put out a lot of games for Western audiences as well. But it's an interesting.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that 90% of Sony's market is in Japan, or 90% of Japan's market is Sony? There's
90% of Japan's market is PlayStation. So that means if I'm a Japanese developer putting out a game in Japan,
then you want to go to
I'm not going to port it to Xbox.
Right. That's why you can't look at Japanese companies porting their, making an exclusive deal to a PlayStation game. Especially games that are for Japanese audiences. I just pulled this up.
Square Enix is also like a worldwide seller. Like, they sell a lot of games in the US. So you would think that, hey, if you make it available for Xbox too, you can make a lot of money. So Sony would have
they've had a long relationship with them. A long relationship. I remember when Final Fantasy was announced for the Xbox and at E3, God, I can't even remember what year it was, and people lost their minds.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
It was a very big deal. So I just pulled up an article off of GameSpot. The big new PS4 exclusives of 2019.
Okay.
Death Stranding.
Okay.
Catherine Full Body.
That's interesting.
God Eater 3. Judgment. Earth Defense Force Iron Rain.
Okay.
Spelunky 2.
That's the first non-Japanese game.
Is it Shenmue 3? Shenmue 3?
Oh, yeah. Shenmue
3.
Okay, yeah.
Medieval.
Okay, that's a Sony first-party game. That makes sense.
Observation.
I think that's a second-party studio.
Okay.
I think that eventually came to Xbox.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I'm just looking at this is a dated 2019.
I'm going off my memory.
Right. Concrete Genie.
That's Sony first-party.
Blood and Truth.
That's a first-party VR game.
Dreams.
That's a first-party game.
Left Alive.
That's Square Enix game. A notoriously awful Square Enix game, if I remember correctly.
Days Gone.
First party.
Zenki Zero Last Beginning.
That's the first game I haven't heard. I remember every game on this list. I have commentary of every game on this list.
Really impressed there. I was fucking impressed. I was thinking to myself, wow, I am falling down on my game. Holy crap.
I mean, most of those I'll just like, if you ask me that list, I could not tell you. But you mentioned those games. They're in the back of my mind somewhere. Except for Zenki
Zero Last Beginning, a first-person dungeon crawler that puts you in control of a group of 8 people, each representing one of the 7 deadly sins, albeit with the exception of one, who have awakened from a deep sleep only to find Earth in ruins. Before long, they figure out that they age incredibly fast and are only capable of living up to 13 days. However, a mysterious arcade machine allows them to come back to life after perishing. You must guide the group on a journey to solve the mystery behind their accelerated aging, as well as what happened to the world.
That's a neat premise, but that sounds like a roguelike.
Yeah, it sounds.
Anyways, okay, wait, go on with this list. I want to see how
that was it. That was the last one of 2019. Let me look at for 2020.
Well, to be fair, there's a lot of those that were Sony first-party games.
Okay, 10 best PS4 exclusives of 2020 coming from Game Rant, which I like calling Gamer Ant. MLB The Show.
Right, I think that is Sony first-party, but that's also on Xbox.
It's a first-party exclusive, yeah.
That came to Game Pass.
Right. Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, but do they own Sucker Punch?
No, I don't think so. Go chat room. Does Sony own Sucker Punch? AC Ray says, I know Dreams because Claire Blackshaw worked on it. It has some great creation tools people have wanted elsewhere. Yeah. Nick brings his A game. I know. Wasn't that impressive? Seriously, that's the most impressive thing I've seen out of Nick ever.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, wait. The studio has been a part of PlayStation Studios since 2011.
Okay.
Okay.
Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Okay, wait. Let me look this up again because that's Insomniac.
See, it's so funny. You have 2019 down, 2020. You have to look everything up.
Well, no, I know that I know that that is an Insomniac game, but I don't know if Insomniac is owned by
Sony.
Yes, they are a studio of PlayStation. Okay.
Neo 2.
Again with the Japanese games.
Is that PlayStation? Was that first party?
No, that's not. That's Team Ninja.
Okay. 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim.
That is one of the best games of 2020 and is also a Japanese game. Not first party.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
one of the
is
best
it
games of 2020.
like I guess the name of the company is Vanillaware, which is hilarious. It's a great name for a game company. Spelunky 2. Wasn't that on the last 2019? Yeah. Okay, I guess it didn't come out in 2019. 2019. I guess it came out in 2020. I guess it got delayed. Final Fantasy Remake, of course. Yes, Dreams.
Okay.
Was also on the 2019 list. Last of Us Part 2.
Okay, that's first party, obviously.
Right. Yeah. Persona 5 Royal. Not
first party.
Yeah. But obviously very JRPG.
Yeah, but wait. I think the Persona games are on Game Pass now.
Yeah, maybe. All right. Since we're having such a good time, since we're doing a deep dive on this, 2021.
Okay, Persona 5 Royale is on Xbox. Now it is, at least.
Yeah. Okay. From GameSpot, best PlayStation exclusive games of 2021 from December 15th, 2021. So these were actually games that came out. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
First party.
Returnal.
First party. Also best
Death
game
Loop.
of 2021. Bethesda before they got bought.
Oh, there's going to be an interesting comparison.
Yeah, except that did come to Xbox a year later.
Chicory: A Colorful Tale.
Oh, not first party, but that's just like an indie game.
Yeah. Kena: Bridge of the Spirits.
Not first party, I think.
Well, let's see when it doesn't. Do I see what it was? Who made it? Let's see. I don't see the name of the developer. Do you know the developer?
No, I think it's a new developer.
And says that's the best ones. Well, I mean, those would be the ones that we would all remember, I guess.
Yeah, but it's interesting how many games on that list.
Here we go. Bebomb. Bebomb.com. List of PlayStation 5 exclusive games 2020, 2021. Astro's Playroom, first party.
Yeah.
Demon Souls, remake.
First party.
Destruction All-Stars.
First party.
Spider-Man Miles Morales, first party. Yeah. Neo Collection.
Not first party.
Not for party, but a Japanese developer, I believe.
Yeah.
Godfall.
Not first party. No, not first party. That was Gearbox.
Okay, there would be an interesting one to find out.
Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, first party. God of War, Ragnarok.
Yeah, that's
right.
First
It was
party.
2021, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, that was.
Ooh.
Not that long ago.
But there's you know what? That's a really good comparison that, they're saying about Call of Duty is like, oh my God, it's such a major part of it's like God of War is right up there.
But that's a first party studio. They didn't pay. Yeah, they didn't pay for exclusives.
Oh, okay. I thought you said that wasn't first party. I'm sorry.
No.
Okay. Returnal, we already mentioned that. Deathloop, we already mentioned that one. Ghostwire Tokyo. Gran Turismo 7.
First party.
Horizon Forbidden West. Is that first party, Sony?
Yeah, it is.
Project Athia.
I think. Oh wait, that was the code name for Forspoken.
Was it? Yeah, that's it. That's right. It is. Yeah. But the working title that Square Enix is using for the game, we don't know a lot about this game, and it's not anywhere close to being launched, of course, when they were writing it.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, there's a couple of games in there that might be interesting
I think
to
what's
compare.
most interesting about going through that list is kind of one of the things that make me not like this merger. Most of those games are exclusive to PlayStation are from PlayStation Studios. Like
Right.
that
It's
company
actually really good
has
demonstration
done
about
a very good job nurturing internal studios in a way that Microsoft has not. And I think what kind of one of the many things that bugs me about this acquisition is this feeling that Microsoft has failed in a lot of ways to nurture internal studios to put out exclusive games. So they're basically trying to buy their way into a shortcut.
Right.
Which the grander issue with that is that it doesn't change their ability to nurture internal studios by buying more studios. If anything, buying more studios when you can't nurture the ones you have is only going to lead to disaster down the road.
Right.
And at this point, I feel like Microsoft just hasn't shown that they can nurture internal studios.
Well, they have, but it was a really long time ago. It was before
Matrick.
Don Matrick, because prior to Don Matrick, that was the whole thing is we are going to nurture studios. Remember the PlayStation, the Xbox 360. Like they had whole sections, the $2 games, whole sections of really nurturing these independent small games and selling them for $2. $2, remember? $2 or Bucker Chuck?
Yeah.
Bucker
But
Chuck.
even then,
We actually had a section on the show reviewing those games. Don Matrick came in and all those studios, they sold everything.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it
like
wasn't just them.
the 360
PlayStation
era was the
did too.
era when all of their big franchises like became big. That was when Gears of War became big.
Right.
That was when not Halo. Oh, I just had it on top of my head. But like Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
Like they put out so many Splinter Cell games for 360.
Right.
But
that was also the era, the Don Matrick era, where they got rid of things like Lionhead Studios, for example. Not,
yes, that's right. Fable. And the thing is,
they sold all of those out. They got rid of those.
And post Matrick, they've announced a lot of those games. They announced the new Fable game. They announced the new Gears of War game.
It's very hard to rebuild what you.
But nothing's come out yet.
Right.
And I think that's the issue. Is like I said, we've yet to kind of see their ability to nurture the studios that they have before they buy a whole bunch more.
Right. And I don't blame Spencer for wanting to get a head start on that, because I'm sure he's looking back at the Matrick years and thinking it it was a building. Like it took you so many millions of dollars and so many years to build these buildings, and then this guy comes in and blows them all up in 10 minutes. Just dynamites them down. We have to rebuild these, but we're already so far behind our main competitor that we've got to buy. But you're right. I have not seen them nurturing the ones that they have. Well, I don't know. It's too early to tell. They just bought Bethesda. They just bought Bethesda. It's going to take at least another 5 or 6 years before we see what they're doing with these companies that they brought under their wing.
And that's one of the things. Yeah, game development takes a long time. And there was a point someone made on the Waypoint podcast that Microsoft, like Game Pass is Microsoft.
Okay, Nick, you and I have to make an agreement right now. We are not going to mention any other game or anything that's got an HTML or URL. Because Ace's got to go to the bathroom, and we've just had a deep dive, and this is one of those moments that we start pulling stuff up and he's having to scramble. So we just don't say any proper nouns. Okay? You were saying?
No. Someone on
go to the bathroom now.
Waypoint.
Go to the bathroom now. AC Ray, hurry up. Go.
Someone on Waypoint made the point that Game Pass is associated with Xbox now more than any single franchise, right? Like before,
Game Pass has been its own
Xbox was the
trademark.
home of Splinter Cell. Xbox was the home of Halo, of Gears of War. Like there were these franchises that defined what the Xbox was. Now it's Game Pass, and like that's a good. It's good for Phil Spencer to do that. Like that's kind of his lasting thing, is giving Xbox an identity beyond any of the franchises. Because I think the issue with the one under Metric is that Xbox lost all those identifying franchises.
Right.
With Phil Spencer, at least so far, they've yet to actually rebuild those franchises, but they've built Game Pass. Because when I think about the Xbox, if you took away Game Pass, what value is there in that console?
It would not be my console of choice.
Yeah, there's still like it's valuable, has a next gen console,
right?
But
the
without
subscription
Game
service
Pass,
sells the console, and that was the
Game
intent
Pass,
of the subscription service. It was going to sell the console,
but like instead of exclusives, they have Game Pass. Game Pass has done all the heavy lifting that the lack of franchises,
right, for the moment.
Yes. So, yeah. I don't, there's no single solution to this. I don't have an answer to anything. There's no like single point I'm making. It's just kind of an interesting issues of like console identity, how they get lost, how they get gained. Can Microsoft get it back, or are they kind of forever hooked to Game Pass now? Is that going to be Xbox going forward? What is it?
AC Ray says you can also get the bulk of that Game Pass on PC, can't you? Yeah, actually, I think the bulk of it, and there's some that you can get on PC that you can't get on Xbox. There's some on Xbox you can't get on PC, but it's the minority of games.
Yeah,
on both. So yeah, interesting. Well, I mean, I'm sure we'll be deep diving into this when we actually get the when they actually submit their court ordered documentation. That's going to be fun.
Yes.
All right. So, my next item is let's see, we already talked about that. So we're talking about already Square Enix, and we've discussed all of that. Might as well keep going. Let's see, where did I have it? I have something in here. Oh, there. Don't hold your breath for Final Fantasy 16 on the PC. Speaking of being on PC. So I don't know if you remember that it was said that it's first coming out to PlayStation 5, and then it's coming out at least 6 months later for PC. And people have been kind of holding on to that 6-month number. Naoki Yoshida, who is Helm's developer, designer of Final Fantasy, producer Final Fantasy 16, he said it ain't gonna be 6 months. He said the PC version of the game will not release within 6 months of the PlayStation 5 version. He was talking to PlayStation Blog Japan, and he made it pretty much, well, very clear actually, that they spent so much time optimizing the game for the PlayStation 5 and so much effort optimizing it for the PlayStation 5 that they won't be able to, they couldn't release it for the PC and have it as optimized as for the PlayStation 5. They wouldn't want to put it out worse than PlayStation. They want it to be good. They don't want to have people playing on a PC going, oh, it sucks. So he said, quote, "First of all, it is true that Final Fantasy 16 is a 6-month limited time exclusive on the PlayStation 5 platform. However, it is a completely different story that the PC version will be released in a half year. I will make it clear the PC version will not come out in a half year. This is because we spent a lot of time and money optimizing the PlayStation 5 platform to deliver the best gaming experience. Of course, I would like to release a PC version at some point so that everyone can play as many games as possible. However, even if we start optimizing the PC version of the PlayStation 5, even if we start optimizing the PC version after the PS5 version comes out, we won't be able to optimize it in a half year. So it won't come out in such a short span of a half a year. I would like to release it eventually, and I think I will, but I am not at the stage where I can say when. So if you were expecting, holding off or, not going to get on PlayStation 5 because you're going to wait 6 months and get it on PC, ain't going to happen. Not in 6 months. It almost sounds like it's like I'd like to maybe one day, which is kind of a little more, like not like nebulous than I would expect.
I mean, I'm sure at a certain point it depends on sales. Like if it doesn't sell well on PlayStation, Square Enix is not going to put any effort into porting it to PC.
True.
If it does
sell well on PlayStation, come on. I don't know why they're saying that. Of course it's going to sell.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, well, unless they screw it up. That's the only way that it wouldn't sell on PlayStation. I mean, is if it was bad.
Based on the previews that I've read about it, it's not a typical Final Fantasy game, which makes me excited, but other people are like, too. That's not what I want out of Final Fantasy.
Right.
So
we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yep. All right. So your next item. Actually, no, I'm doing heavy lifting. I get to do 2 in a row. From Software has revealed the Elden Ring DLC. It's going to be called Shadow of the Erd Tree. I know. I can see it in your eyes like, here it comes. You're going to play a lot of it.
Look, it's only DLC, so that means it's probably only like 60 hours.
Yeah. So they did announce it and they released some art. It was announced on Twitter. Of course, it had a picture that went with it. So let me pull that up for you. There we go. Let me add. Right here. All right. So there it is. There is the picture that they released with it. And I will try to zoom this in for you because I'm a good person and you would want to do that. Let's see, does this change anything? No, it doesn't really. Yeah, sort of. Let me make it full screen.
I've read that there's speculation the person on the horse is a character named Mikilla, which is people are really interested in because Mikilla is like one of the demigods that you heard a lot about but never actually saw or met in the game. And it's also interesting that the Erd tree in that picture looks burnt because that's kind of an end game thing. Spoilers. Some shit happens at the end of that game.
Okay. So what's all this in here?
Ruins.
Nothing specific?
No, it looks like ruins. Hey, guess what? There's a ton of ruins in Elden Ring.
Do you it might be a specific ruin.
Do you want to see like some dilapidated buildings and arches with a basement? There's a lot of them. You want to see some caves? There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So, I think that, I didn't put us on here. Sorry about that. So yeah, that's a thing and that I'm sure you're going to be playing a lot of. My next item is, let's see, we already talked about Square Enix. Capcom. Speaking of more Japanese games, or Japanese studios, Capcom has announced that there's going to be a Capcom Spotlight on March 9th. And let me get to where it is. There's going to be a pre-show at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. UK. And the main show is going to be half an hour later, wherever you are, 2:30, 5:30, 10:30. During the live stream, Capcom is going to share updates on a bunch of upcoming releases, and they're going to be streaming it on Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. The show's expected to run about 26 minutes, and it's going to feature updates on Resident Evil 4 Remake Exoprimal, Monster Hunter Rise, Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, and Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. At least that's what they're announcing right now. So set your calendars.
I'm interested in some of those.
I know you're interested in the Resident Evil.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that goes without saying.
I know there was... I think it was Capcom that announced it. But when the PlayStation 5 was first coming out, they had a big event. Oh, thank you, Google, for showing me.
What?
I had Googled Exoprimal game to see if that was the game I was thinking of. It's not, but Google has like people also search for. One of them is Pragmata, which was a game announced with a very weird, mysterious, vague trailer before the PlayStation 5 came out. Has like, yo, here's some cool looking PS5 games.
Oh.
Haven't heard crap about it since then. But I do believe it's from Capcom. Okay. It's slated to release this year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was hoping that's what Exoprimal was,
Mm-hmm.
but Exoprimal is a different game.
Yeah, looks like that is not that game.
No.
Here is the trailer for Exoprimal.
Pragmata is the game I want to learn about. I don't care about.
Come on, get in there. Get in there. Yeah, so this was the reveal on this is the trailer. So yeah, that's we're going to find out more information about this on March 6th. I'm sorry, March 9th. Sorry, March 9th. And the show starts 2:30 p.m. Pacific time, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, 10:30 p.m. UK time, and you will have to do the calculations for anything else cuz math is hard and let's go shopping. So yeah. That's a thing that's about to happen. What else have I got? Let's see. I'm getting down to the end of what my stuff is. So why don't you? Oh, whoa. I'll do one more big one. All right. Final Fantasy player. Sorry, not Final Fantasy. So used to saying that now. Destiny 2 players. If you are playing Destiny 2 on the new Destiny 2 Lightfall on your Series X or Series S, you may have noticed you have a little bit of problem going on. Destiny 2 Lightfall is broken for Series X and S. It is a bug. And it is stopping players from being able to launch the game because of the new expansion, the Lightfall expansion.
That sucks.
Bungie, yeah, it does suck. I'm used to seeing this kind of stuff of it works for the modern, like the current console, but it doesn't release for the past console. It's the opposite on this one. So Bungie is aware of the problem and they are working on it. There is a workaround though, and it's because that the problem is that it is Lightfall is not meshing well on the on the Xbox Series X or S because of DLC or other content that was downloaded on the previous Xbox, on the Xbox One. Does that make sense? So like it's the older content that already exists in the game that you have that is conflicting with this new content that is made for the Xbox Series X and S.
I know that's something that Destiny has struggled with for a long time is the legacy content. Like at a certain point, Bungie just needs to pull the Band-Aid and put out Destiny 3. Yeah. Because at this point, Destiny 2 seems like it has so much, what's the word for it? Like tech debt, engine debt, that like it's becoming unwieldy.
Yep, it's becoming hard to work around it and hard to write around it. It's starting to break down. So yeah, they've got to release Destiny 3. But bottom line, you're going to have to uninstall some of your legacy. Thank you for the word for that. The legacy content. Here's the legacy content that is conflicting with the Destiny 2 Lightfall. Destiny 2 Forsaken Black Armory, Destiny 2 Forsaken Joker's Wild, Destiny 2 Forsaken Penumbra, Destiny 2 Forsaken Annual Pass, Expansion 1 Curse of Osiris, and Expansion 2 Wormwind. Any or all of those are going to conflict with Lightfall on an Xbox, a modern console Xbox. So if you're having that problem, remove those and try to boot up. Once all of those have been deselected in your game, and you select save changes, wait for them to uninstall. And once they have, you can launch the Destiny 2 game and it should boot up problem free. So it's a terrible way to have to work around stuff, is to get rid of some of your add-on stuff.
Yeah. That's bad engineering, man.
Yeah.
Bungie.
AC Wraith says Pragmata is coming 2023. He says adorable CGI girl saying sorry for the delay. I shall adopt her and protect her no matter what murdering spree she may go on.
Yeah,
I will love her and squeeze her and call her George.
I was just watching that trailer again, and it was like, I don't have a damn clue what is going on, but I love intrigued.
It. I want it.
Yes, and the funny part, the end of that trailer says coming 2022.
I know, painful. All right, so what's your next item? I think I've carried.
Okay, this is just in my offhand Google searching, I remembered another PlayStation exclusive that we will probably hear about because it's yet to come out. Silent Hill 2. The Silent Hill 2 remake. There's a whole bunch of rumors.
Did you put this in here
then? No, this is just what I found out.
Oh.
Because I was Googling.
Because you were just looking for other games.
I was looking at Pragmata, and then Silent Hill 2 was there, and I was like, wait a minute.
You went down a rabbit hole.
That was a PlayStation exclusive. And so I clicked on it. That brought me a lot of news stories about how there's a lot of rumors that Sony is specifically denying Silent Hill 2 to come out on Xbox because of the lawsuit. That let's see if I can get quotes.
Juicy.
Microsoft claims that Sony has vetoed the wider release of certain titles.
Really? Other than Silent 2, what else?
It was a link to a different story, which I'm now trying to find.
Oh, petty. Bring on the petty drama. Especially among petty drama among people bothers me because I don't think people should. I hate seeing people being petty to each other. However, petty drama among corporations, please more.
Oh, that doesn't tell me anything.
Anybody on the chat room finding any information about that? Because I'm sure everybody, if you're in front of a computer.
Specifically, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy 16, and Silent Hill 2 Remake.
Say that again?
Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy 16, and Silent Hill 2 Remake. That Sony has vetoed the wider release of certain titles from its third-party catalog. So that they're basically, they're paying for exclusivity. But the rumor here is that specifically that Sony is paying for exclusivity of Silent Hill because Microsoft might get Call of Duty. So that is probably
this is messy. This is so messy. This is so messy. You love it.
I guarantee you that is a deal we would get details about.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I know we're going backwards. That is a bit of an argument. Like pot meet kettle. Like PlayStation won't release Final Fantasy anything on Xbox because it's a first party. But we can't have Call of Duty because you might not be, because we might do the same thing to you that you're doing to us about Final Fantasy. Pot, kettle, black.
Well, no, it's because Call of Duty is bigger. Call of Duty matters.
Call of Duty matters. That's the thing. Oh, Final Fantasy, that doesn't matter. It's only been around for the last 25, 30 years we've been making them. Yeah. No, barely even a blip on our calendar. That's why we remake them. It's just because, we're
what?
bored.
I would honestly wonder, and this is not something to do right now because it would take a lot of research. I wonder what series has more games, Call of Duty or Final Fantasy.
Oh God, that's a really good question.
Because they're
definitely giving each other a run for their
money.
Final
Fantasy has a ton of spin-offs.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yes.
But Call of Duty also had an era where like
every year,
but then also like on the Wii always got its own unique Call of Duty. Like past gen consoles always got their own unique Call of Duty.
Yeah. I think that's really an interesting argument.
I think Final Fantasy might beat it out just because it's been around longer to have more time to spin off stuff.
It would surprise me that there were more Call of Duties. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
That would be the surprising result.
Okay. Anyways, speaking of EA,
somebody is furiously looking that up right now and counting.
This has nothing to do with anything. I have no good segue this time.
All right.
An Austrian court says that FIFA Ultimate Team packs constitute gambling under their rules.
As it should be under everybody's rules.
And specifically, the issue they have is that the let's see. Okay. This decision was made due to the contents of FIFA's loot boxes having the possibility of being worth more or less monetarily than the value of the pack itself, thus theoretically offering a financial benefit to those lucky enough to receive a valuable item.
They're not wrong.
That specific point violates the Austrian Gaming Act.
And they're not wrong. They're absolutely not wrong.
No.
Those things that you get out can be translated into actual world dollars.
Yeah. And so what's the big deal about this is that this suit comes from plaintiffs who gambled away like $400 on FIFA Ultimate Team. The court, they basically sued Sony, not EA. And so the court has now ordered Sony to refund that $388. Sony has yet to like have a they've yet to respond to it. So we don't know what will happen with this, but this has basically gotten to the point where, hey, you're at fault. You need to refund this.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Here, AC Wraith has provided the links for you if you want to do the counting. The Final Fantasy games link and the Call of Duty franchise link. Nick, do not. Stop. You said you don't want to do it. I don't want you to do it.
Yeah, but someone else did the research, not me.
No. Just don't do it. But I will say this about that Austrian thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that they consider, and trust me, I'm not on the side of FIFA and FIFA Ultimate Team and all that ass fuckery. Do they consider Magic the Gathering packs?
That would be a good question.
Because, I mean, by that definition, that's gambling. Because those cards could be worth tens of thousands of dollars or nothing if you get lucky with the pack. If you get a Black Lotus, or they don't even know if they do Black Lotuses anymore. But the Black Lotus is like notorious of being instantly worth thousands of dollars. So yeah, I would expect that FIFA might actually bring that argument up. So how much are they going to lose on this? Nick, stop counting. Stop. Stop. Just stop. All right.
Right
AC
now,
Rate did
they
it.
would just
42 Call of Duty games. Final Fantasy, it seems to have quite a few more, but I lost count after 42. So there are more Final Fantasy games than Call of Duty games.
Yes.
By a significant margin.
Sony was only ordered to refund the $400.
Oh,
that's it at the moment.
Right, but it sets an interesting problem. I mean, it sets an interesting precedent that they may not want to do.
Yeah, maybe Sony will escalate this. Maybe they'll just try to settle it.
Yeah, I would imagine. Well, I mean, if they can't settle it, it's already been ordered.
Yeah, they would have to escalate it because either EA and Sony like stop selling FIFA Ultimate Team in Austria,
right?
Or
and admit that it is gambling. By paying the fine, you're admitting that you committed the crime.
Under those laws, it's gambling. But we don't really think it's gambling. It's not gambling. They just have a different definition of gambling that, we don't agree with.
EA can't possibly say, yes, it's gambling somewhere. They can't possibly say that. Some Final Fantasy games are remakes, but then again, every Call of Duty is a remake. Burn! Not wrong, but a burn nonetheless.
Shots fired.
Yeah. Yeah. The truth is always the most painful. So yeah. The question is, does Sony want to mount a huge case about $300? But then again, do they want to admit that FIFA Ultimate Team is gambling?
Yeah.
It's hard to decide. As of June 2022, there are 95, more than double Final Fantasy games, according to Retro Dodo. More than double the amount of Call of Duty. Now, that does surprise me. I did not realize there were that many Final Fantasy games.
I mean, to be fair, it looks like Final Fantasy has really churned out a lot of mobile games in the past several years.
Yeah.
I'm kind of intrigued by what this Final Fantasy Airborne Brigade.
Well, let's look this up because apparently we're not done with this fucking rabbit hole.
Final Fantasy Otninks.
All right,
Final Fantasy Worldwide Worlds. Oh, Final Fantasy Otninks Dive.
Okay, what was it? Final Fantasy Air Brigade?
Airborne Brigade. Brave Exvius I actually know about.
All right.
Visions.
Let's see, iPod Touch, iPhone, iPod Touch, and iPad game. And here is what it looks like. All right, let's see. Sign in. I'll just fast forward because I don't want to watch it all. I guess you can do a quest.
This is
there we go. Oh gosh, really?
Old
mobile
game.
Yeah. Oh wow, this looks so bad.
No, it's like an auto battler.
It looks so bad. Did we really play games like this?
Did you? Wait, let me look this up. That doesn't look like an iPhone game. That looks like a pre-iPhone mobile game.
It says Final Fantasy Airborne Brigade, iPhone, iPod Touch, iPad, HD gameplay trailer. That's the name of this video.
That looks like, right? Doesn't it look like a pre-iPhone mobile game?
It does. It very much does. That's why I'm saying it looks bad. I mean, what year did it come out? Does it say anywhere?
I'm 2012.
Sure. 2012. So we're talking 11 years ago. What was the phone 11 years ago?
When did the iPhone come out?
But that was like when the iPhone came out, wasn't it? No. It's been longer
than
that.
Yeah, iPhone came out in 2007.
Okay. So that's only 4 years after the iPhone came out. So that was probably the iPhone 2 or 3.
That was early enough in the iPhone's life cycle that games hadn't really taken off.
No. No.
Because remember, like games weren't a huge
We
thing
were
on the
playing
iPad.
tic-tac-toe on the iPhone at that point.
Tic-tac-toe doesn't count. Like in the same way that like
you're playing Minesweeper.
yeah, like gaming didn't become like a boom on the iPhone until a couple years after it was released.
Right.
It's great.
Yeah,
Hey.
this looks terrible. Ugh.
Okay, you can look. You can stop looking at it. I just thought the name was really cool.
Yep.
The idea of like managing a fleet of airships in a Final Fantasy world is really cool.
It's not. All right, so let's see. My next item.
Yeah, let me see. Do I have any others? Oh yeah, I've got a couple other like.
Okay, then you hit one.
I have one other.
Okay, then I have.
Oh, well.
I have one other. Perfect.
Okay. Phil Spencer had teased during a recent interview that in the Xbox game thing happening in June, they will likely have some sort of GoldenEye-like announcements.
Well, they said that there was discussion about some other game getting the GoldenEye treatment.
Yes. And GoldenEye like came out this month, like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
A remake, not a remake, but basically GoldenEye 64 came out on Xbox and the Switch, which is a big deal because that game has kind of been stuck in licensing hell. And so now you have it available on modern consoles, which was a big deal. So for a GoldenEye-like announcement would be another beloved old game getting re-released on new consoles. Not necessarily with like a graphical upgrade, just, hey, something old that people liked that's not available.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no other hints.
What do you think that might be?
I don't know.
Have you looked at the GoldenEye, like anything about the GoldenEye Redux?
No, I've heard it's good.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
it's GoldenEye.
It looks like GoldenEye.
Yeah. Look, man, I played enough GoldenEye. I don't have any desire to go back to it.
Yeah, but it's the fact that it looks, but you can actually play it. It looks,
and I think it's an important historical game.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't know if it necessarily holds up.
But it
by
looks like
standards.
It looks like GoldenEye, but it looks like it feels like an Xbox, like a modern day Xbox.
Yeah,
which is what you would want. So, what game would you like to see?
It's not
with the GoldenEye treatment.
It's not quite the same level, but I know years ago Microsoft announced a remake of Perfect Dark, like a full-on reboot, like high-end next-gen update to the game.
Right.
I imagine, like, maybe as part of that coming out, they did a similar thing with the original Perfect Dark that they did with GoldenEye.
Right. I could see that.
That's my best guess at the moment.
Thoughts in the chat room. And what other game would you like to see that was a beloved game of the past? Get the GoldenEye treatment, because clearly something's getting it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I played on Nintendo 64.
See, here's the thing. I was not playing video games at that time. I came in right after GoldenEye to coming back to games. AC Ray says, I was playing PC FPS games at the time. I never understood GoldenEye hype, and yes, either made my stomach churn. Yeah, he's got serious like first person shooter issues.
I would like to see, if we're just talking about games on N64 that are since unplayable, I want someone to remake the game called Blast Corps. Blast Corps was a story about like a truck with some sort of runaway, some sort of explosive on it, right? Like it's got a nuclear bomb on a truck and the brakes are out, so it can't stop. So they call in the Blast Corps, which is a series of like demolition vehicles ranging from dump trucks to giant jetpack mechs that basically level a city in the way of this truck so that it can pass by without blowing up. So in order to not let this truck hit a building, you have to bulldoze everything in its path before.
Oh, what a
hits
genius idea!
there, right?
I can see that being a hell of a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Okay, I will give you it's a PlayStation game, so I won't do it. But there is a game that I would really love to go back to because I think it had a lot of possibilities, pluses going for it, but I think it wasn't quite up to snuff of what it could have been. And that is a game called 13. I really like 13.
I know 13.
Yeah, I really like 13. But that's PlayStation, so that wouldn't be. But I would love to have that updated so I could replay it again. And
It was a remake of 13 some time ago.
No. Did I miss that?
It's on Steam. Hey, Shepard, come on. You're right on the way.
Oh god, this game looks so fun.
Yeah, 13, a remake of 13 came out in 2022.
Oh, how did I not know that?
So I think, is that available on?
I will have to go back and play it. All right.
It looks like you can get it on Xbox.
All right, then I will be playing it. So there you go. I already have my dream. All right, let me see the chat room and see if anybody has let's see. Yeah, 2020 on Steam, mostly negative.
No,
that sucks. All right, my last item is just as silly, if not more so. So, there has been a big announcement, or there is a big rumor afoot that I have two items. One is Telltale announced a delay on Wolf Among Us 2, which is like, I forgot you were making that.
Yeah, so did I.
And I love that game, but even I forgot that you were making it. So yeah, they announced that the problem, not necessarily a problem, but they've been working on it so long and it's built on the Unreal Engine that they've actually crossed over to a new version of Unreal. So they have to start over on Unreal 5. So this is according.
Wait, why does that game need Unreal Engine 5?
I don't know. So according to an official tweet from the studio, the game is going to require more time and it is committed to delivering the sequel you deserve, and it's doing what's right for the game while protecting the health of their team. They said that switching from Unreal 4 to Unreal 5 means redoing quite a bit of work already accomplished on the Unreal 4 engine, but that the switch to Unreal 5 will cause a delay, but it's mainly to avoid crunch and shipping a bad product. So they're actually trying to avoid crunch by going to Unreal 5.
I wonder why. Maybe Unreal Engine 5 at this point is just better supported by Epic?
Probably A, better supported by Epic. B, probably, smoother and easier to use because it's in theory a huge improvement. But C, it also just is better. It just makes a better game. So you're not releasing it on an old, archaic, last gen engine. So this came from a dude named Jamie O'Tilley, who is the CEO. So O'Tilley said another option would have been to crunch, which was also off the table to maintain a healthy work culture and to avoid burnout. So yeah, it's delayed out of 2023. So not even going to be this year, which kind of sucks because I would have been really excited about that. But the game is set 6 months after season 1 ended. And if you haven't played, let me tell you this right now. If you haven't played The Wolf Among Us, go play The Wolf Among Us. It is I guess you call it point and click adventure. It's an adventure game, but it is really good. Really, really good. This is the point and click adventure Telltale type game for people who don't like those games. So good. Absolutely. It was the last game that Kevin and I played where I played it and he actually sat and watched it together. We played it together. because it was that good. There's only been a couple of games that were like that. Grand Theft Auto, we played together. Drake, having a brain cramp.
Drake?
Drake's
Uncharted.
The Uncharted games, and that game. 3 games that we would play together, that we had played together, of him watching me play it because he was interested in the story. So yeah, it's my favorite by a really big amount, Telltale game. So super excited about that. The other last item that I have, let's see, where is it? Did I not make a? I must have. No, I forgot to make a banner for this. Stand by. Xbox stuff is coming. All right. That is my fast banner.
Did we mention the Tetris movie last week?
We did.
Okay.
Yes, we did.
I feel the need to bring that up because I just remembered that again. And shit. Okay, I should do this today. I remember there's like a perk on Game Pass where you get 3 months of Apple TV.
Uh-huh.
And I'm thinking of signing up for that so I can watch the Tetris movie.
Oh God.
It looks like a fun movie.
We'll see. I'll have to trust your word on it because I'm not going to spend 2 hours of my life doing it.
It's like about the making of Tetris.
Well, if you want to waste money and time, I have a better suggestion for you.
That's the point. I get to free trial.
There is a let me find out, where is it? You remember the Xbox Series X fridge, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're about to get, according to the Xbox, according to images that are out in the world, the next thing coming is a Series S toaster. In fact, it's not just a Series S toaster. By the way, the Series S toaster is going to cost €60. It's going to have 3 toasting modes. It has a white shell and a large circular vent in the style of the entry-level console. So, it's a bully to VG247. They actually found a site that is in French, so I will actually have to switch it over to English for you. Come on, there's got to be an English version, right? Come on, give me the English version. Crap, why is it not giving me option for English? Let me go back to it. And is it going to give me the option to, there we go, English. There we are. Thank you very much. It is a full range of Xbox stamped interior accessories coming soon. The Series X and S toaster, suitable for 120 by 120 millimeter bread, anti-slip feet, a Halo toolbox that is coming, which I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of cool. A RGB Series X mouse pad, lighted mouse. Actually, no, it doesn't look like it's mouse pad. Does it look lighted? Maybe it is lighted. I don't know. A pen holder, which is, I'm not gonna lie, I would buy that. I would have that on my counter at work. And the Xbox black logo 8-piece dinner set,
crockery set,
the black ramen bowl with green chopsticks, the die cut edged metal controller bottle opener, and a Halo energy sword lamp.
Go back to the bottle opener. Scroll up a little bit.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, there's nothing to link on here, so I can't.
That's just. It's weird that they use the handle.
Yeah,
has the part where you pop it open.
Yeah, it looks like it's just metal, like a piece of metal, and you just. And the 14-inch Halo energy sword lamp.
There's a lot of that. That's kind of
well, some objects can easily complete. Here's a line that's clearly French. While some objects can easily complete your gaming corner, such as the halo lamp or the mousepad, other elements will probably have to find favor with your partner. Fuck you, France. So yeah, all the kitchen stuff. Obviously, the boys are all gamers. Girls are in the kitchen. I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty cool set. It's really and that ramen bowl is really neat.
I don't know. I feel like that's a little much. I don't need branding on my plates.
Better than me. The ramen bowl, definitely. Chunderbox says fanism gone mad.
I don't need branded plates and bowls. I can just use a bowl. It's a bowl. It doesn't have to have a logo on it.
I think it's kind of cool. It's not fandom. It's just stupid. It's stupidity. It's stupidity gone hilarious.
Like, okay, something like the control.
Chunderbox says that the Halo Sword is cool.
Yeah, like the lamp is interesting. The bottle opener is like
the
good,
lamp is too serious. The bottle opener is borderline, like right there. But the ramen bowl just is
the ramen
genius.
Bowl. The ramen bowl and the plates are too much. The
really
toaster,
cool.
The toaster is dumb.
The toaster is, yeah, it is kind of dumb. But you're talking to somebody who bought a Swarovski crystal toaster. A toaster. I bought one because it was on sale and it was so hilarious that I bought it because I'm going to give it to somebody one of these days. I've got it in my basement. Somebody one of these days is going to get that for a wedding present.
A crystal toaster?
Swarovski crystal covered toaster. It's hilarious.
How does that work?
There must be a Swarovski.
AC Ray says the lamp has an added sense of danger. It might poke your eye out in the dark as you struggle to turn it on.
Let's see.
So is this toaster just like a regular toaster with
crystal? Oh no, see mine. No. Mine was like way covered with it. This is much older. I've had it for a really long time. So like these aren't even.
What if you add vintage to the Google search?
Oh, it's full on a vintage one.
Yeah.
Let's see. This is looking pretty vintage. Come on. Yeah, it's all broken. Oh, it's all broken. Yeah, that was probably it. Swarovski crystal toaster vintage. I wonder if it's worth anything because I had it for so long. No, I'm not finding any pictures of it. But it was just covered with Swarovski crystals.
Was there like some sort of advantage to that? Like
no
heating? It was just
no. It was just ludicrous. It's absolutely stupid. And I found it on a discount. It was like on like deep discount for like, I was walking through a store and I saw it. I'm like, I'm buying that. It was like $25 cheap. They were just blowing them out the door and I bought one. Yeah, I cannot find it. Unfortunately.
Wait. What's that duck? Show me that duck.
That's a Swarovski crystal mini duck faceted crystal, $33. Why, you want a duck?
I mean, I think it looks better than the toaster.
You don't want the hedgehog?
Where's the hedgehog? Show me the hedgehog.
Oh no.
I'll take a cute little crystal animal. That Amazon.com, that Swarovski duck standing. That's adorable.
Oh, I'm sorry. It opened up a new window. My bad. Let me I've been opening up windows on all of these things. And I thought that I was on that page. Let me go back to this here. Okay, yeah. So that's the Walmart. You can buy it at Walmart. There's the hedgehog. And the bunny.
Oh.
Don't tell me you're falling for this crap, Nick. Come on.
I mean,
who doesn't want a crystal beaver?
I wouldn't buy it for myself. But you know what? If you're going to give me a crystal thing, a little crystal animal is better than a crystal toaster.
Oh no, the toaster's genius.
Although $70?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, they get spendy. They get spendy.
Oh, this is on sale.
Only $60.
Only $60.89.
Yeah, I mean, these are the things that like women in the Midwest collect. I knew that's not actually entirely true. My across the street neighbor, for when I was growing up,
Is there little animals for the cats to swat off the counter?
Yeah, pretty much. But my when I was growing up, the neighbor across the street, the old man and old woman, she collected crystal like this. She was raging, both of them raging alcoholics. Oh my God, raging alcoholics. But she collected Yadro crystal and Swarovski crystal, and her whole house was covered in like shelves with crystal behind glass and lights pointing down at it. And she had to have spent at least 10, probably more, closer to 6 figures. And this is a long time ago. Buying this crystal, thinking it was a investment. It is not an investment at all. Not an investment. But I'm sure she thought that she had a gold mine, not realizing that actually she spent a gold mine.
Yes.
Yeah. These are like Beanie Babies that never went out of style. Yeah. How about a little kitty themed appliances? I would a little kitty themed appliances. I would have in my kitchen.
Yeah. Hello Kitty.
Yeah. I would absolutely. In fact, that's an idea.
Hello.
I might do Hello Kitty. I actually might do my kitchen in Hello Kitty. I don't see why not. Kevin can't complain now.
Hello Kitty.
Using your pension to build a Hello Kitty kitchen. Fuck you. Now, perfect gift for your enemies. They'll lose focus. They'll focus the light and cause a fire. Yeah. I do own one piece of Swarovski. I mean, other than the toaster. Yeah, other than the toaster. My wedding cake. I never wanted the little plastic like man and woman, like the bride and groom. I just really didn't like the idea of a bride and groom on a cake. Just like too plasticky. And the ones that aren't plastic are just kind of like cheap looking. So I got a beautiful Swarovski crystal. They're daisies, about that big, and I had that as a topper on my wedding cake. And people thought it was like, oh my God. I'm like, it was like $100. It wasn't that much. It's like $150. And yeah, it was a little more expensive than if you bought like the porcelain bride and groom, but I didn't want that on my cake. Just didn't like that idea. For the same reason I didn't throw a bouquet. There was just certain things about weddings that just seemed kind of like garter toss. Oh, I hated that. Didn't have that. It's the nice thing about your wedding. You get to do anything you want to do. So yeah, get yourself an Xbox toaster. Anything else before we close out the show? Jupiter, you're so cute. God, that's a cute cat. If you die, can I have Jupiter?
Sure. Okay. He'd get along with the dogs.
Shepherd's nice, but I really like Jupiter.
He would get along with the dogs.
He would.
But you'd have to take him as a pair. You can't split them up.
Shepherd would hate it here. Shepherd would go under my bed and never come out until like he started to smell. He would die under my bed just because he never came out. Actually, I'd take it back. They'd probably eventually, because both of my dogs are good about cats.
They're also very chill.
What?
For the most part? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the puppy can be, she wants to play a lot more, but she's been around Buddy, and Buddy doesn't play. Buddy don't play that game. I could see Jupiter and Mia just tearing up the place and having a great time.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Shepard is willing to play. Like, he's willing to go out and wrestle and stuff. He just has to be comfortable.
Right. He'd probably get comfortable eventually. All right. So anything else before we go? Oh, I do have one big thing for everybody still here. And if you weren't here, I'm sorry. Please convey it to other people. I will put it in the Discord. I will not be here 2 weeks from now. So the 12th, next week, we will have a show. The 19th, we will not have a show. I am going to the Orion Dark Sky Fest. I'm going out in the desert near Death Valley. Me and a bunch of other astrophotography nerds are going out in the middle of nowhere and primitive camping and taking photos. And you can look it up. No show on the 19th. Thank you for that. I'm sure you can probably look for the Orion Dark Sky Fest. You will probably find the link, AC Wraith. Yeah, it's just big nerddom astrophotography with during the day it'd be talks from astrophotography experts for beginners and that kind of stuff. And I did get into one of the classes. And then at night, it's going to be a bunch of people standing around taking pictures of the sky.
Cool.
So, but I rented a travel trailer. I'm not taking my own Burning Man trailer because it's too much for one person. It's just going to be me and my cameras. So yeah, the 19th, no show. Go have fun. Play your own game. Tell me what it's like. Tell me what the outdoors is like for me.
Wait, why would I tell you what the outdoors are like when you are not going to be here specifically because you're going to be outdoors?
Sort of. I mean, here's the thing that the people I'm going with have not quite realized. They're like, there's a lot of really cool things we might want to hike to. And I'm like, all right, my knee's kind of fucked up, so I'm probably not going to be hiking with you. But let's be honest. We're going to be up all night taking photos. We're going to be sleeping a lot of the day. So yeah, I would imagine that I'm probably going to be going to sleep at 3-4 o'clock in the morning and then waking up at noon, and then sun goes down about 5. So I'm not going to have a lot going on. So everybody have a great week. But let's close this out. You've been listening to GameHounds episode 671. We are recording this on Sunday, March 5th, 2023. I'm Edie Sellers. With me has been Nick DiNicola. Ways to get a hold of us. GameHounds.net is our website. GameHounds@gmail.com is our email. We record this show live every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and on Twitch. We would love to have you join us, regulars. It's a fairly long show, but we would love to have you 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern every Sunday. We also will eventually be releasing these as podcasts. It's gonna happen. I swear. I promise. I'm gonna do it. I swear. But we do have, in theory, a podcast that we release the show in the audio form. You can find it on YouTube, on iHeartRadio, on Audible, on Amazon, and pretty much wherever you find Google Play, wherever you find podcasts, that's where we are. We're under GameHounds Podcast. I do also want to remind you, we are, this video show part of it, 100% Patreon sponsored. It is you who pay for this. We only ask for $1 a month, and thank you so much to our patrons who have given us $1 a month, because you've kept the light on for us here in this like face-to-face thing we've got going. So thank you to our patrons, Tor the Weege, Peter Camo, Eric Baker, Anonymous, Pissed, Andy H. You do make this all possible. If you would like to become a sponsor, $1 a month is all we ask. We're not looking to get rich here. We're just looking to pay some bills. Patreon.com/GameHounds. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to talk to you next week. And remember, no show on the 19th. Have a great week, everyone. Thanks to everybody in the chat room. Bye. All right, there we go. I'm going to fix that in post. All right, everyone. Thank you in the chat room for being here. Totally appreciate it. Chunderbox, I'm about to go sit down and play some Battlefield. My gamer tag is GamerEdie, GamerEdie. Please come and find me. I would be happy to have you. We will sit and talk just like this, but I can hear your voice. And anybody else want to join me in Battlefield? I'm not playing in the competitive mode, not by myself. Maybe if we've all had a full team, yeah. Like Nick was there and Chris was there and Chunder was there and somebody else was there. We had a full team, maybe, but probably not. It wouldn't make sense because you get so much more points easier and having more fun playing the co-op. It's awesome. Anyway, talk to you all next week. Thank you so much, AC Wraith, for doing all of the links between poops. I saw that. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.